Dear sweet, succulent Peruvian listeners, boy oh boy do we have a special treat for you. Because on this week's episode of Nothin Good, we're going to teach you something new. Now when you've been wronged, beaten down, or passed over, and life's got you down, but you want to get even, always remember that revenge is a dish that is best served now. So when nature's calling, don't despair, because balancing is the hardest part. Because nothing's grander than an upper decker, a classy yet subtle art. That's right, everybody. It's pooping on a toilet. In the tank. This week on Nothin Good. Man. Guys, I think I want to take another take at that. I could be a little cleaner, but I think I hurt myself on that one. Just the Nothing Good. Just a little. I need some help. I think we need to bring in. I think we need to bring in a ringer.
Perhaps I could be of assistance.
Who's that?
You motherfucker.
Shit.
Sit the fuck. If you know what, everyone in the table, stand the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Who the fuck do you people think you are? Doing this show without the fucking king. How dare you take your dicks out your pants and put them back in your pants because playtime is over, children. That's right. It's the motherfucker that is not allowed within 500 yards of a podcast. And I am back and I have some fucking shit to say to all of you. First of all, you, Dave. Fucking you, Dave. With your thoughtful, well thought out introductions, with an accessible yet cerebral style of introductions. Fuck you right in your fucking mouth. And then you, Jeff, with your dry as a pack of Ritz crackers wits, but also somehow heartfelt and sincere about poignant moments on the show. Fuck you! And you, Herb. Fuck you, Dave. Okay? Fuck you. And most importantly, sweet listeners in the entire fucking nation of Peru, fuck you. Fuck you. It is time for all of you to be cut by the king because it is fucking on! This week on Nothin Good. Woo!
Noah Brown is in the room, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh shit!
Well, hi, everybody.
We'd like to welcome
back,
Noah
you
back to the show.
motherfucker.
He's been gone for 10 fucking years. You
It's
fuck.
been
man.
too long. It's too long, but my seat at the table has been saved for me, and I appreciate it.
The whole time.
You know what? The entire time we did this, we ceremoniously kept your seat right there with a microphone ready. Just in case you just happen to stroll
Yeah,
up the fucking
like,
street.
maybe he'll just show up.
And you know what? You didn't. So fuck you.
Fuck you!
Oh, fuck me. Oh, yeah, that's the biggest fuck, is to me. Gentlemen, I missed you.
What's
Yeah,
going
we've
on,
missed
man?
you.
What's going on? Good to see you.
Yeah.
The fucking
I'm
new,
sure you've got a lot to say.
Oh, I have
It's been a hot minute.
the new father.
Yeah, I data too. Jafar knows what it's like. It's fucking...
It's a whole thing.
And two girls
but
too, man.
It's two ladies. I am officially and permanently outnumbered in my house.
That is life.
Yeah.
But most importantly, now the listeners are outnumbered because it is you fuckers. Oh, I missed you. Sitting in your car, sitting on the toilet at your midnight shift, just listening to us go, I fucking missed you. And I know you missed having me inside you. Oh, we are going to have some good times. You know what? It's been a while, so if I finish early, just give me a couple minutes. I'll work it back up, I promise. We'll have a half a bottle of Gatorade, and then we'll be back at it.
We're going to have 2 matches of the pay-per-view left to talk about, and then Noah's just going to have to leave.
Got sweaty and cross-eyed.
Just sweaty cross-eyed. He's going to have to go take a shower.
Oh, it's okay. Fight. Jeff, what is the towel in your kitchen you least enjoy? It'll never be soft
It'll
again.
never be the same.
Oh shit!
Oh, guys, yeah, you know what? We'll save this for a future episode. But I have been listening to the show, and fucking all right, good job, right?
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Jeez,
Some are
thanks.
better than others. No, but I did enjoy it. I have a lot of strong feelings, particularly on you guys. I did not know anyone could be. I didn't know it was possible for the podcast to be as serious for as long as the time as you guys managed to do in a couple of those episodes. So it's like almost like for your dramatic consideration, the Nothin Good podcast. And I was like, these
Sometimes
fuckers-
we
there's-
get serious.
There was like 25-minute segments where there was not one dick joke made, and I was just like, what happened?
Listen,
to the
if there's a
show?
dick joke all the time, are there any actual dick jokes happening?
Life is a dick joke.
Fuck.
You emerge from a dick.
I mean,
Frothy and ready to go. And to a dick, you shall return. At the end. At least that's how I think it goes.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Oh, man.
that's not biology there.
Yeah.
3 million sperm, and Noah's the fastest one.
I know, right? Man, there's other sperm.
Just think of the PhDs, the nuclear physicists, the professional athletes that you outswam.
I say this as respectfully as I can. But I believe, having known my brother and sisters, that there were no PhDs in my dad's household. Not a one. Not a one. This is as good as it gets, kids. Oh, but speaking of as good as it gets,
Yes.
if I'm remiss on the way things go, I know it has been a minute, you know, it's got to get hard again. But isn't this where we talk about beer?
Yeah. Yeah, that's around
We
this
usually
time.
start with that. Sometimes we forget. And then
Yeah,
we
it
do it
happens.
At
later.
the end, you
But-
know.
Yes. What's everybody drinking?
Yeah, Mac, what are we drinking?
Well, so, with today's episode being what it is, I thought having, really top of the line, microbrew IPAs or things like that, that's just not really the Sandman style. So I brought us today a new summer favorite here in the city of Pittsburgh. Iron City beer mixed with Turner's iced tea.
And all three of you guys are drinking that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do. I've had this before, and I'm going to, for one good time in audio posterity, describe. Oh, God damn it!
Folks, if
It's
you
like-
see his fucking face.
It's like if somebody spilled shitty iced tea into an ashtray and made you drink it. It's fucking. It is the city of Pittsburgh.
I'll say it tastes like Pittsburgh.
So this is I took this camping with us a couple of weeks ago when we went camping, and I gave it to some Pittsburgh people that haven't been around to have this for a while, and some non-Pittsburgh people, and I said you have to drink 3 of these. The first one you're going to hate. You're not going to know really what it tastes like or anything. It's going to taste like
It's
a lot
weird.
of different
Yeah.
things. Yeah. It's a weird thing. The second one you're just going to kind of accept. And by the third one, you might pretend to enjoy it. And that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's Pittsburgh.
It's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
That is. That's well said.
And when you drink about 36 to 50 more of these.
For
you're gonna-
$12.
For 12 for 12
$12
fucking dollars. Which is a key here. You will defend this motherfucker to everybody that's going to say something bad about it. And you're like, oh, why don't you just have a Yingling? Like, fuck you, Philadelphia.
Oh, the replacement for Lion's Head has arrived. It's fucking Iron
Yeah.
City.
But only for summer. Then it's
Only
right
for
back to
summer.
Lions.
That's right. Then it's right back to Lions Head.
I am drinking an Ithaca beer because I'll drink that iced tea shit later on when I go home. But I'm drinking Ithaca beer Double Power. It's a West Coast IPA. And it's 9%. So in order to talk about ECW, one must become ECW.
Yes.
The only way you're going to
Yeah.
do it is
get
with
fucked
beer
up.
that is way higher than it needs to be in alcohol content.
or trashier than it needs to be.
Yeah, well, you got
We
that covered.
have
Either way.
all
Yeah.
hit the mark.
Until someone smashes it over their own head and bleeds,
Well, so
you ain't really Sandman.
So, to your point, Jones, I have 4 folding chairs on the other side of the railing.
Okay.
So, just when things start to really get like intense, we just have to make sure
Fucking sucks.
that we just go for it.
It's like never gets better. It doesn't. I keep trying, because my brain and a slight alcoholism is like, ooh, beer, you're thirsty, and then every time you drink, it's like, fuck you. And it's this beer is like, I don't know. It's like someone who, you ever like watch 2 grown ass people get in a fight, and you're not sure how it started, but you know both people are in the wrong. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
This beer is that screaming drunk chick trying to
In case
stop
you
it.
change your mind.
You are wonderful. I don't. Oh, God, thank you. Stars and our fire. Wow. Gentlemen, do you want to talk about the state of wrestling in the summer of 1998?
I would love to. We would love to. Please. And thank you.
Enlighten us.
Okay, so come on in closer, everybody, as we have a discussion about the state of professional wrestling in the year 1998. We are in the midst of the Monday Night Wars, a time that we've chronicled quite deeply, quite thoroughly, inside and out, and then back in again.
this
Half
how you-
in, half out.
Is this how you put your baby to sleep?
Oh, no. No, I don't make phrases like half in, half out with her. No, I just play reggae.
There you go.
She is jamming all the time. But you, dear listener, you would have been jamming in 1998 if you were listening or watching pro wrestling. From the WWF side, we were at the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin, WWF champion twice by this point. And he was on the highway to hell, ready to battle The Undertaker at Madison Square Garden at SummerSlam 98. On the other channel, WCW, Goldberg had just defeated Hulk Hogan to become WCW champion, and Goldberg's undefeated streak would reign supreme for 3 months, and then they would ruin it because WCW, gonna WCW. But then, to remind everybody, when we talk about the Monday Night Wars, there was the third entity. Hard, rough, hardcore, nasty, and laden with more concussions than a pro football team. It was Extreme Championship Wrestling. Struggling to be on any kind of television except regional access, which here at Pittsburgh was on right after Saturday Night Live. ECW, run by Paul Heyman, who you may know now, or you may not, was in full swing with their hardcore revolution, promising an alternative to the Attitude Era. And where you would think an alternative to the Attitude Era would be clean, squeaky, no. They're like, let's do crack in the middle of the ring. And as we build up ECW's momentum, here we approach Heat Wave 98. In what has long since been a pro wrestling tradition where you have some feuds end and some feuds start on a pay-per-view, this show almost features exclusively feuds ending, as ECW really considered the start of their year to be after Heat Wave, as we get in towards November to Remember. Here we are now, we will see future Hall of Famers, the Dudley Boys, future Hall of Famers, maybe Tommy Dreamer, maybe the Sandman.
RVD.
RVD is a Hall of Famer. Maybe Sabu one day, too. And then a bunch of other people.
So when WWE does officially have their Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
I think they're just going to, as we've seen that show on A&E where they're looking all over the place. Where they're looking for the Undertaker's coat.
Yeah.
And they're looking for they're looking for the Hell in the Cell cage. They're looking for
Hidden treasures, I believe.
right, the hidden treasures, right? I firmly believe they're just going to put Spike Dudley in there.
Just in a case.
Just in a case.
Just all mad about shit.
Yeah.
If you guys you've seen Basketball, where he's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's sneakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's rookie card, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's just sitting there in a case, and he fucking goes and punches in and punches out every day. That's gonna be Spike.
Yeah, it's
Dudley.
like the fucking collector from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Except he's just chilling in there.
Yeah.
I often wondered as a young fan, every time you'd see some backstage access or any kind of interviews with Spike Dudley, he was always very well spoken and very angry. Seemed like he took himself super serious. And then if you actually, as a grown man, watch ECW and what they do to that man, you would also have.
You would understand why he's angry. And
also, now that we know about brain trauma, it does tend to make you lash out irrationally.
Well, I'm a firm believer that ECW should have had a pay-per-view that was just tables, ladders, chairs, and Spike Dudley's oh my. Because he's essentially a prop in this pay-per-view.
He is. That's what he was in ECW.
I know.
A prop that would occasionally wrestle the world champion whenever you needed, someone to get fucked up for 12 minutes. Well, speaking about getting fucked up, you guys want to start the show?
Well, shit.
All right, so we start the show. And I know we don't have all the time in the world to give detailed recollections of everything, but we're going to fucking talk about every match, right?
Yep.
And, and we're going to talk about the intro, which is Joey Styles standing in the ring, doing his best penis impression with a suit. And then he brings out Francine and her tits, accompanied by Shane Douglas, who... Now, did anyone watch ECW when it happened, when it was going on in the 90s? Yes.
Yep.
Does anyone remember Shane Douglas actually defending the ECW Heavyweight Championship on...
I don't know if I've ever seen Shane Douglas
I saw clips
wrestle.
of it constantly.
Yeah. He was always hurt. And here he is. I'm like, oh man, Heat Wave 98. And then he's like, the ECW Heavyweight Champion. I'm like, on commentary? And oh, he's fucking hurt.
So, I wrote specifically because I remember, I'm old enough, we're all old enough to remember Dean Douglas. We remember that failed gimmick that just did not pick up. It just didn't. I remember Shane Douglas going to WCW and that not working towards the end of WCW's
because he was hurt most of the time anyway.
Yeah. But I remember the fucking franchise. My man was legit. He was a big fish in a small pond. And I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
He exuded what ECW was in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Cut the fucking music. Jesus, fuck. I haven't heard that in such a long time. Mm-hmm. It brought me right fucking back. Because when I was a kid, you watched it on WPTT or whatever the fuck you watched it on. It was always bleeped out. Yeah. To hear him just fucking say it. Because I didn't see the shit on pay-per-view. There was no fucking way on the planet Earth.
Nope.
My parents would have bought this shit for me. You fucking kidding me?
Agreed.
I'd have got kicked out.
Well, you know, and you
You're
know,
on your own now, son.
and you know who keeps cutting his own music today? L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Walks out, cut the music.
But I just loved Shane Douglas was so fucking important in ECW. He was, in a lot of ways, he was the franchise of ECW. But man, Francine, listen. When I was 14 years old, 15 years old, I thought Francine was hot. I realize now she's local hot. She's reporter hot, Dave.
She's hometown hot.
She's
Hometown hot.
I said 1998 trash hot is how I have it on my notes.
Yeah. Which is fascinating if you look back on it.
Definitely the hottest girl at whatever bar you were drinking at that night.
Well, first of all, let's be real. Everybody at this fucking table would not have batted a fucking eye when they were 21 years old, and she rolled up on you, giving you the easy eye.
Nope.
No way.
Not a chance.
No way.
Well, I like how you say that they brought Francine out and her tits. Francine brought out her own tits.
No, her tits bring Francine. But by sheer weight ratio, the law of physics state that those were the moving factors.
If you watch it back, that was the first thing that came through the curtain.
Was the tits.
Tits.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's excellent. But target audience. ECW knew what they were doing. Paul Heyman knew what he was. He didn't know how to book like compelling long-term storylines, but he did know how to put tits on TV. Well, and damn it, that man did his job well, sir.
Yeah. Well, because it's funny you say that, because I remember I made a point in this too. I think I only saw 2 women in the entire audience, like while watching the pay-per-view back. Well, I was looking specifically, are there any women in this crowd? There was maybe 2. And they were back.
There were only 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing.
It's still a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Hara Arena in Dayton, Ohio. Huge draw for a pay-per-view. But it's ECW.
Yeah.
They weren't ECW, to their credit, made 4,000 people look like more and sound like way
They
more.
really did sound like
the way all the camera angles were. Because the way it looked was there was nobody up top. Because it's a hockey arena, basically. Yeah. But it looked full on the bottom.
And of course, the ECW audience, they are their own gimmick.
Yeah.
They sound bigger than they are.
Well, you know, not saying that the other promotions weren't doing this at this time. I mean, WWE definitely does it now. But, I mean, ECW knew who their audience was and did not give a shit about trying to get anything else but their audience. Like, they were hyper-focused on this specific set of wrestling fan, and they made sure that everything they did appealed to that wrestling fan, so they would tell their similar interested wrestling fans, you need to watch this fucking promotion.
Oh yeah, it was 100% on brand.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think it's also on brand that we have our intro with Shane Douglas, and you know, there's tits and all the fun jokes they have. And in true ECW fashion, the first segment of the show is already going over on time, so they get a hard cut off to the segment to get to the pay-per-view intro. Excellent. Now, before we get going with the actual matches, it is remiss to say that because ECW famously used all licensed music that they never paid for.
Oh, that's such a travesty.
It is that no one in this show has their actual ECW music except for one.
Taz.
What?
Taz had his music.
No, he had War Machine?
No, but he had the da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, well, that was the video game version of War Machine that Harry Slash.
Well, I know he had War Machine, but I thought that he was using that music by '98.
He was still using War Machine in this point in '98. But whenever ECW redid a bunch of songs for the Acclaim video games, when they went overdubbed. That's the one WWE
Fuck,
still.
I forgot that was an ECW game.
Yeah, there's two.
I totally fucking forgot about
There
the-
was Hardcore
Goddamn
Revolution and
Acclaim.
Anarchy
Yeah, I don't
Rules.
remember that.
Remember Acclaim made games?
Yeah. Well, they just
Attitude?
all they did was take Warzone or Attitude and reskin
Port
it.
it.
Now,
Yeah.
now they just sell insurance.
Shit.
I mean,
That is like the most amazing transition ever.
I would like to know what Acclaim's mascot would be. You know, like
Wasn't
you got
it an iguana?
I have no fucking idea.
It was an iguana, wasn't it?
I think
On
it was.
top of
Oh
the
yeah,
Acclaim.
because
It was
they
a
made
fucking.
NBA Jam.
I
didn't
remember. Pepperidge Farm fucking remembers.
Didn't they do NBA Jam?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was why the iguana was on the slamming.
It was
the
a
thing up.
fucking
Yeah.
Because
iguana
it was
that would
just a
sit on
boom.
top of the Acclaim logo.
Their insurance commercials would just be an iguana slamming a
They also
basketball,
did,
boom, boom,
Forsaken.
shakalaka. He's on fire,
Boom goes the dynamite.
NBA goddamn jam.
Right.
Man.
Dude, oh man, it's got to be
That
top
game was
five.
so
of
shallow, but it
arcade
was so
cats.
fun.
It's fun as shit.
There was
It is.
nothing to it, but
Nope.
it's so unlocking different characters.
Yeah.
Like celebrities were in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Oh my god, there was so
like
many
Bill
different
Clinton or
things.
some shit?
There was Bill Clinton was in it. Like I think
No license paid.
weren't Beavis
Oh.
and Butthead in it?
Possibly.
Maybe.
I want to
that
say that. I
sounds
want to
about
think
right.
like they might have been. There's so many like weird things that they did with that game.
NBA Jam and NFL Blitz were two
Yeah.
games you had to live through.
Yeah.
Right.
Blitz was my jam.
But anyway, licensed music. So some
It's
of
the
the
Mama's
shit that
Family
hit-
moment of this episode. By the way.
We do
Heat
NFL
Wave
Blitz.
98 / NFL Blitz this week on Nothing Good.
So anyway, the licensed music, that's it's something missing from the show, especially when we get to the main event, because that was some fucking iconic music right there. But so generic WWE / ECW does want to pay for it music aside.
It's background creator wrestler music number 11.
Yes. Our opening match is just incredible with the odd pairing of his entourage, the world's sexiest man, Jason, Jailbait Chastity, and Nicole Bass.
Nicole Bass.
Against Jerry Lynn.
Fucking
opening
weird ass match, but it was a great match, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it was... This whole pay-per-view is going to be all over the place as far as matches that are wrestling matches that become ECW matches, or ECW matches that start as ECW matches and never actually become a wrestling match.
Yeah.
This is the former.
I'm a little upset that in a pay-per-view in a wrestling promotion that is so big on gimmicks, that significant lack of ladders in these matches.
ladders.
They
At
show
the
up.
end,
Yeah, when it mattered.
at the end,
I think you got to remember the 1998 hierarchy of things, right? Chairs all over the place. Been used to death. They're used to death in the opening match, right? Before we get there. Tables, used to death in the opening match. But ladders, we're in the summer of 98, meaning we haven't even had the Edge of Christian versus Hardy Boys tag team ladder match yet. That would lead to triangle ladder match. That would lead to TLC, and the fact that ladders would be in every match for 5 years. So we aren't there. So they're still new to the point where ECW didn't even spring for the two-sided ladder. They just had the one-sided ladder.
Painter's
Like
ladders.
the painter's ladder.
Painter's ladder.
Yeah, and
Dangerous as
they
shit.
made the talent carry them out from the back themselves.
Yeah, like get it out. We have enough shit under the ring. We gotta keep all of the blood test requirement kits underneath the ring
Yeah.
for after the show.
and how about the fucking one job that I wish that I could have in my life that I'll never have, right? Is prop master for an ECW live event, because during this pay-per-view, chairs and tables just keep showing up. Like the wrestlers don't even have to go get it. Like there's somebody on the outside of the ring that is just
feeding stuff into the ring. Yeah.
into the ring. I want that job. I want to be that guy. Pay me $5.25 an hour.
You won't get that. Paul Heyman ain't paying you that.
No, you got the
He'll pay you with hot
opportunity,
dogs.
sir.
The opportunity.
All right, and
The
then he wouldn't even pay you the opportunity. He'd still owe it to you 10 years later and have to sue
He would.
for it.
It becomes an IOU in WWE stock
Oh
after
my
the
God.
completed sale purchase.
You'd have heat with Heyman for years because he never paid you that opportunity he owed
Could you imagine me walking out in the middle of Monday Night fucking Raw? Like he's out there with Roman Reigns doing some type of promo about being the head of the table and everything, and then my fucking music hits and it's just the McDonald's theme song,
There you
and
go.
I walk out holding a fucking IOU to Paul Heyman.
I've been waiting for this, Paul.
I haven't forgotten Paul.
You owe me an opportunity for that title.
And then I just go down in like 15 seconds. So it's just me running around the ring until Roman catches me.
You're all blowed up.
Yeah.
So this match was actually pretty solid. Like, look, listen. I could forgive Justin Credible for X Factor. It wasn't his fault.
No.
Yeah.
But I can't help but think of X Factor every time I fucking see his bald head. It's unfortunate. But the match was solid because Jerry Lynn is JL, is really good at what he does, and that's wrestle. He fucking hurt me.
It's Mr. JL versus Otto Montoya,
Ain't
which
that some
is
shit?
1995 in a fucking nutshell. And which is incredible
Beat the shit out of each other.
This isn't our first Jerry Lynn match we reviewed on the show.
Nope.
Homie wrestled on Halloween Havoc, which is still, by the way, being reviewed.
Somewhere.
Still going.
Somewhere that episode is still being recorded.
I took an 8-month hiatus and we're still recording Halloween
God
Havoc.
damn
Thank
it.
you very much. But, oh yeah.
Also, kind of in a way, Just Incredible paved the way for John Cena in wrestling in jorts.
Well,
We
Stone
blame
Cold-
him for this.
Just Incredible walked. So
Stone-
John Cena could run and no one could see.
Thinking no one can
Stone
see
Cold
him.
wrestled in jorts. I mean, let's not forget that.
He fought in jorts.
Well, okay.
He beat
He
people's
did wrestle in
asses in jorts.
yeah. He wrestled in tights, but yeah, he fought in jorts.
There was the spot. Look, I'm sitting there watching this, and now, okay, some of these matches I've seen on YouTube before over the years. Some of these matches I've never fucking seen before. I've never seen this match before.
Jones, before you complete that thought, I know you've watched this pay-per-view
Yes.
before. Jeff, have you seen this pay-per-view before reviewing this?
First
I have
time.
not seen this either. This was my first time seeing it too. Jones, you said you saw some of the matches on. This is the first time seeing. Have you seen all of these matches before prior to this?
I've watched the main event before more than once. I watched the Lance Storm match before. I've watched the tag team match before. All the other ones I've not seen.
You never saw Taz and Bigelow?
No.
Okay.
Not this one. Probably live in New Jersey.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
So, this is the first fucking match of the show of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They're going fucking hard.
They do.
Yep.
This motherfucker gives a top rope hurricanrana out of the ring through a goddamn table on concrete. And I'm like, this is where we are tonight.
That is
Yeah.
important
Okay,
to note
then.
that there are no mats around the ring.
Yeah.
There's zero
No
padding
dangerous as shit.
anywhere.
And they would keep that way until they went to a state that required them around the ring, and until they closed.
So Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Ohio.
New York.
Ohio don't give a
Not
shit.
Ohio.
No
Ohio
fucks
gives
given.
no fucks
No.
at all, unless
As
it's
our
about
Ohio representative,
It's true.
does Ohio give fucks?
Zero.
Zeros.
no.
Yeah,
The
zip.
only fucks Ohio. No, I'm not even going to say it.
I'd like to think that when the match was over, because listen, it was a good match. It was a great opener
Yeah.
for a show that's going to have so much gaga, so much shit going on. It was a good wrestling match, all things considered. I'd like to believe that at the end, Jerry Lynn stumbles his way back and looks at somebody and goes, "Top that shit, motherfucker." Seriously, because they did everything.
They just try to one-up each other.
They did every fucking thing in this match outside of light something on fucking fire. Now, to be fair, every other match after that does the same damn thing. But
You
it was,
set a precedent, right?
So there, yeah. So the spots in this match, right? The fucking like the tombstone from like the top rope.
Yeah.
Fuck.
yeah. I mean, how dare they do that?
I'm not concerned about Jerry Lynn's head in that move because he had him posted right, and at the end of the day, you're in ECW. That's probably the ninth least dangerous thing
Yeah,
you've done all
that's
day.
a pretty light bump.
But on
When
Just Incredible's knees,
when we get
Yeah,
to tonight,
that's where you can tell I'm an old man now. I'm like, God, those knees, dude.
Yes.
You get back a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
tube
just
of Tiger
straight
Bomb on
contact.
each one.
yeah, when we get to
Shout out to
Tanaka
Tiger Bomb.
versus Mike Awesome, we're gonna talk about holy goddamn fuck.
Yeah, motherfucker. Man.
But like, I saw that and like my fucking asshole puckered up a little bit. It's like, oh god damn. And you're right. It was the first match of the pay per view.
They went hard in the first match.
A little critique here. ECW's in-ring officials.
One officials.
Hey, in-ring official. It's one guy the whole night, Mr. John Finnegan,
Mr. Finnegan.
wearing the same shirt that he's worn 3 years before and would wear until after ECW was closed and they brought him back for one night stand. Still had the same fucking red and black shirt.
Noah, he's
Yeah.
still wearing it today.
Yeah, he is.
If you saw him sitting
Paul
in his
Heyman
rocking
was
chair,
born in
if
that,
you
yeah.
saw him in his rocking chair on his porch, still wearing it.
Probably didn't wash
Yeah.
it either.
No.
Yeah,
Paul
no.
Heyman ain't paying to have that shit laundered.
No.
That's always been the weird thing
He
about
ain't buying
ECW,
Purex.
Mac, is like, it's extreme, okay, so there's shit that goes on, but the official's like, hey, don't do that, but he'll turn a blind eye to that. The
Someone will
night
literally
was
get
nothing
their
but
skull
that.
crushed, and he's like, "Oh, how'd this chair get here?" It just like casually kicks it out of the ring. Don't do that, guys.
Chastity's involvement in this match pissed me the fuck off.
She did her job.
Because no, she did. But I mean, he spent this was a about a 15-minute match. 14 minutes and 22 seconds of this match the referee spent looking at Chastity. instead of paying anything attention.
Well-
like, shit's going on immediately directly behind him. Like, I think the chair hit him, and he's still looking at her like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think it's interesting to add on. First of all, I think in 1998, we'll have to go in sometime. I don't think we have time today, but to learn about the story between Devon Dudley and Chastity. Do we all know about this story?
I do not.
not.
I'm
Okay.
curious.
So I'll give the short
Intrigued.
version. Devon Dudley was ready to leave his wife for Chastity.
Well, shit.
Until one day he walks into the locker room and they're on a TV with a VHS player hooked up. It's Chastity's jailbait porno where she's double teaming some dude. He was like ready to move out of his house and with her, and then he walks in just at the time she takes a load, and he's like, I can't do this. I got to go back to my wife.
Was his wife there playing the
I hope
VHS
so.
tape of this to let him know?
Rumor has it was New Jack who
I
dug
can-
that up
I can
and
see
did
that.
that.
Of course
right?
it was.
Not because he wanted to save Devon's marriage, but
Because he's the original
New Jack,
gangster,
He
and
has
that's
to
what he
fuck
does.
somebody up in some way every day.
Yeah.
Or else he becomes old Jack. And it's the only way he becomes... Right.
Does he go directly from New Jack to Old Jack, or is there a tepid Jack somewhere in the middle?
I would say there's probably that, but there's probably a middle-aged Jack.
There's a warm
know.
bathwater Jack.
Seeing New Jack over the years, I don't think there's an in-between.
There was no in between.
No, just a
I don't think
switch.
there was even an off
Yeah.
switch. I think it was always just on.
Yeah.
Like, that's a man who woke up, ate breakfast, took a shower, went to work, came home, watched Jeopardy, and it was always New Jack.
Yeah,
He never shut
he
off.
cuts his TV when Jeopardy gets the answer wrong. So this is a great opportunity to bring up something I wanted to talk about. Does anybody actually know here know what the rules of an ECW match are?
Don't kill anybody.
Try to walk away.
Okay. Excellent. All correct. And Jeff not saying anything is also correct.
There are no rules. It's extreme.
Okay, so there are actual rules that they establish on ECW TV like twice, and you're supposed to remember this. This is a great idea of long-term storytelling. There are no disqualifications in ECW. Pinfalls and submissions can only happen in the ring unless otherwise noted or it benefits the match. So, but that's
Not the
it.
wrestler.
There are
Just the match.
no, there are no countouts. There are no disqualifications. Right? No match can be ended in only a time limit draw, a pinfall or submission. The only way that matches end. That being said, so Chastity distracting the referee for most of the match doesn't make any fucking sense because there's no disqualification, but it does serve to trigger the basic wrestling idea in your head that's a heel and getting just an incredible heat. It serves no purpose. The reason why we do it is because that's cheating, and bad guys cheat, but since there is not really any cheating in ECW, it doesn't serve anything other than just to help get Just Incredible, who would have possibly been cheered for his gimmick had he not had every possible person in the back as his entourage during this match.
Can we talk about Nicole Bass for a second?
Let's not. Yeah, let's talk
Like-
about her.
What a time.
Jesus Christ. And this was our first reference to the WWF because they said she must be from Russia because she's bigger than China.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, how did fucking Blanca from a Street Fighter movie get into this
Oh my
match? and then she's standing there. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's what Blanca from. If that was Blanca from Street Fighter, I'd have fucking respected Street Fighter better from that fucking movie.
Fuck that movie.
Also,
Charlie,
I'm like,
we have to have you.
also
like,
available
what-
in the
she's-
archives.
Don't invoke that shit.
one, she's fucking terrifying.
She's fucking
Two, she
huge.
serves zero purpose.
Oh my god. Yeah.
No, she's a heater that doesn't get heat.
Nope.
No,
And
she's just fucking there.
And I get why Paul Heyman and why everyone books this thing. Because ECW still, here's the best way to look at it. It has only been on pay-per-view for a year. Right? And this is like maybe the fourth ECW pay-per-view. This is the first
This is the first Heat Wave pay-per-view.
to ever be on
Yeah.
pay-per-view. So they're not sure when they're going to get anybody else's money or they're going to get the shit pulled. So they're not doing like, oh, let's build up and spend 9 months to watch Nicole Bass get bumped. Right, finally, and where she gets her comeuppance. No, they're like, right away, Jerry Lynn, every one of his entourage, Jerry Lynn's going to fucking plant you. Right? And drop you and nail you. So that is why we're bumping Nicole Bass right away on this show. But the finish is a top rope tombstone.
The audacity of these motherfuckers to go
In
that
the opening
hard.
match.
Like, what? You're just like, well, shit. Like, what do I do now for the next match?
It was
you
a
bring
great
out
fucking
Lance Storm
move.
and Chris fucking Candido.
Did not realize Lance Storm was on ECW.
Yep.
Really? That's where Lance Storm really got his...
Dude,
his
No, I
there's
understand,
so
but
many
I'm saying,
fucking people
like-
who were on ECW for a while.
No, I know
for a
they
cup of
were,
coffee,
yeah.
And he's one of them.
One day we're going to do the One Night Stand reunion show. which is like after everyone who was good in ECW came back and had been seasoned by actually wrestling somewhere.
Yeah.
And the show's incredible. But Just Incredible hits a That's Incredible second rope tombstone off onto Jerry Lynn for our win. He is your winner, and bringing it back because it's me, our rating system. I give this match a 3.5 Nicole Bass lazy eyes out of 5.
They're not even lazy anymore.
No, one was like, as you watch,
There's one sleeping.
it's like the weights of justice. Like, they're just like this
Listen,
the whole fucking time.
This is what we missed for the last
Listen,
8 months.
can I tell you I've missed having you on the
I
show?
missed you guys
Yes.
too.
Can I tell you that? Yes.
yeah.
How was the beer, by the way?
Delicious. I've moved on from the ashtray
I've
to
not tried
Stars and Fire. I will probably still drink that thing once I've given up life. But this is good. Bohemian Premium Pilsner. Look at this. Drink fresh.
That's how a lot of
Keep
people
cold.
settled in Pittsburgh, Noah.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, this is where this is where the cash ran out.
This is as far west as we're going, kids.
So we got Lance Storm and Chris Candido right off the rip. How fucking roided up is Candido here?
This
This motherfucker's jacked.
I simply listed this as muscles were wrestling muscles in this.
I don't remember him being that big.
Because he normally
He
isn't.
normally wasn't.
In
No.
ECW, there are no protocols.
When he was
and
skipping.
he can juice his ass up as much as he wants, and no one's gonna say a fucking
He
word.
was thick during his WWF run. He
was-
was skip, but he wasn't.
He was not.
cut.
Dude,
He wasn't like that.
there is a point if somebody is just standing, not doing anything, and their veins are fucking jacking and fucking
Yeah,
pulsating.
I call it a
There's
Bagwell.
something
Yeah,
going
a
on
Bagwell?
here.
Yeah,
that shit's not normal.
I call that a Bagwell.
Bagwell wasn't even like that.
Just
man.
when fucking veins are just coming out of vein. When veins have veins, on
Veins-
muscles and muscles.
Muscles had veins, and veins had muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
I call that a Bagwell. That's what
Well,
fucking Chris Candido was in this
To add
match.
it into Candido here, man. I mean, you got to think. Here he is trying to stand
Rest
out.
in peace, by the way.
Rest in peace. Yes, R.I.P. Trying to stand out in a sea of other ECW guys, right? And so you got to stand out, but also he's got Sonny's money to spend now on his show, and both of them have a lot of drugs to do in a very
Sonny
short
was
time.
100% fucked up.
Oh,
during
she was
this
Oh,
match.
fucking
she was fucking
You,
going.
as soon as she got on the mic and started talking, like, oh, you're not all there right now. So I can tell already.
Let's put this in perspective. 4 months before this, she's walking into WrestleMania 14 with the Road Warrior.
Ain't that some shit?
The fucking Road Warrior.
Now she's just in,
And now
in a
she's
fucking-
out there looking like she just freshly sucked somebody's dick in the parking
Yeah,
lot.
it's probably
And Chris
sounded for
Candido
cocaine.
knew about it, and he was real sad about it, but
Yeah.
he was going to let it show, which is what you need is autobiography. I feel so bad making these jokes. She sucked his dick. I knew about it, but I wasn't going to let it show. It made me sad.
And
A
got her-
Tale by Chris Candido.
probably got her high.
With forward by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
definitely doing coke off his cock. Just-
Oh yeah, anyone that had it, yeah, anyone. It's like right on the back of a 1996 Buick Century, just anywhere that you can take it. But yeah, but they looked great. That's the problem with fucking. We don't talk about this with steroids, right?
How good you look.
You
Yeah.
look fucking unhealthy.
You look like a fucking wrestler.
but you look like a fucking
negatives.
statue, right? So like
He was statuesque.
Yeah.
Yes, and the fact that even Jeff is about the same height as Chris Candido, right? He looked like you chisel him out of stone, wetted him down after you did, and same with Lance Storm. But these guys look great. But then, what kind of long-term health ramifications do you do to your body by doing that?
I
I
like
mean,
how
first off, your ear falls off.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh god, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I like how Chris Candido does not normally get the appreciation that he deserves.
Does
I
not get
think
his flowers.
because he's in a very, very good wrestler. He always was a good wrestler.
But he was better at doing drugs.
I mean, that's what
I
they
mean,
tell me.
first of all,
Sonny.
let me be honest with you. Most wrestlers are. No matter how good a wrestler you are, sir. Shawn Michaels, considered one of the best ever to do it, was even better at drugs.
Better popping pills, baby.
I mean, there might not have been anybody better than him. And
but-
when the bell rang, doing drugs was HBK.
Could that make him the greatest of all time because he was that good, being that fucked up?
I mean, yeah, no, that's a pretty good point.
Real quick, kids. Before Shawn Michaels did drugs, both of his eyes faced the same direction.
Yep. Actually, both of us, before he worked Kane in a feud, that's what happened. Kane grabs his face, knocks one of his eyes loose, and it's still spinning to this day.
I thought it was Jericho throwing his face into a fucking
No,
monitor.
no, it was just after the Kane unmasking angle. He did that Kane face grab that he used to do to people, where he grab you by your face and pick you up, and he doesn't do it. He didn't do it anymore because he dislodged the retina in Shawn Michaels' eye.
So you
Doing it.
actually knocked
learned
his eye
something.
suing.
Yeah. The big red
Now
machine.
his fucking like iris is just floating.
But scaling it back, before we talk about Lance.
Scaling it back, yo. What the fuck are you
I know. I'm
where?
Yeah. Chris Candido, though, I always like Candido because to me,
Scaling it back.
he's Memphis.
Yeah.
Like everything he does is Memphis wrestling. Like he's like, if Memphis wrestling was thrown up to the 3,000%, right? He walks around the ring when he sells cartoony like Memphis. He throws punches and takes punches like if Jerry Lawler actually had athleticism.
He did the Three
He
Stooges
oversells
run in the
everything,
fucking
yeah.
when he was on the ground. Did the little in
He
the
did.
circle. I'm like, this motherfucker! How dare you do this on pay-per-view?
Right. He's Memphis. That's what he is, right? So he's like probably the best Memphis wrestler that never got his flowers.
Yes.
But injuries and his choice in life partners led him down a path that he could not recover from. But I did love that with the whole idea, his ear was ripped off, so he's wearing the Rick Steiner headgear,
Yeah.
and they did the Rick Steiner shit that popped me. It popped me in the middle of the night. I'm like eating a chicken pot pie, watching this, drinking a beer. Oh!
That paints a picture.
Okay. What? That noise? I don't know what that was.
That was chicken. That was the fine people at Marie Callender's chicken pot pie spewing from my mouth as I popped for the.
Oh, okay, that's what that was.
There it is.
I like.
Let's take it back.
Way to clarify.
So what
take it back.
I was mentioning,
Hot
let's
cross.
scale it back, right? So like to the point,
Gravy.
like with
It
Landstorm
wasn't hot until then.
or
No.
Candido, as jacked as he was, as good as he was, as great as Lance Storm was, the star was Sunny as always, and
Nope,
So-
Tammy.
fuck it, Sunny. It's always Sunny to me.
Yeah.
So
It's partly cloudy right now.
a few days ago,
Thank you.
Mr. Brown and I, we got together. We're shooting the breeze a little bit, and I've mentioned this before, like my appreciation for Paul Heyman in the year 2023. Whereas no matter what he's doing, he approaches his on-screen time as if the camera's always on him. He's always in character, no matter what the fuck he's doing. And I watch that stuff with other performers on TV. Sometimes they just get caught looking. They're just standing there staring. They're in it, but they're not in it. But Paul Heyman, everything about him.
He's committed.
He's almost as if the camera's right here, and there's no match happening.
What's the last of a dying breed?
But Sunny is the same way.
Exactly the same way.
Because everything
with
that
more
I've
drugs.
heard about her, all of her issues that she has, and heaven, God bless her, she's got some issues. I hope she comes out of them at some point in life with her jail time and everything. But she's a wrestling fan. She's a real wrestling fan.
She is.
And she loves this shit. And she loves to perform. And, like, you sit there and watch her, like, during the match, she's always in. She's always dialed in, no matter what she's doing. Whether she's shit-talking the fucking audience or she's reacting to what's happening in the ring, her body language, her facial expressions. Like, it's unfortunate that she went down the path she went because she could have had a much bigger future
I mean, she's huge.
and career in her life.
Yep.
She
but
could have
it's
been huger.
time.
I think she also in 1998, regardless of what we want to say that Francine was barstool hot, Sunny was legitimately gorgeous.
Oh, so listen, no one's going to question that.
Yeah, no, and so it's a lot easier to watch Sunny in 1998 do that than Paul Heyman in 2023.
And can we acknowledge that again?
Same size tits though.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
accurate.
Candido,
Well
as
done.
jacked as
Thank
he
you.
is and as big as he is, punched the fuck up.
He did. Oh yeah, for always.
He was out of his weight class with her without question. Which is probably why she was with other guys so often.
I mean, there it is. And to give the last person their flowers, dude, Lance Storm.
Listen,
Holy shit.
this
Like,
dude
there's a
is
reason
so
why
good.
we hold him in such high regard, as far as like one of the better. If only he had ever learned to cut a promo, right? Like,
He didn't really pick that one up.
no, he didn't.
So if you take a step back at this pay-per-view and just look at every wrestler as they walk into the ring, right, just as they are, and then you have Lance Storm. I was thinking when I was watching this, like, do you think Lance Storm's standing there like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I wonder
it's a
that.
paycheck, but I mean,
I wonder if Hayabusa's thinking that shit.
because like he's sitting there in the ring, he's in like full fucking ring attire, he's a graduate of the Stu Hart dungeon and everything, and he's just fucking sitting there, and then like Chris Candido and fucking Sonny walk out, and he's just like, oh, fucker,
So Lance Storm is an interesting journey to get here in ECW because he starts his career in Calgary and then moves down to Smoky Mountain as part of the Thrill Seekers with Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
That is how they start their career. And then Jericho makes it to ECW first. And Lance Storm is... Because when Jericho leaves for WCW, Paul Heyman's like, well, I had his partner. Let's bring in Mr. Lance Storm. So they do, and he's immediately an excellent wrestler, but doesn't stand out any kind of personality way. So what do? You put him in a tag team. And then after the tag team, what do? You break off the tag team and have him feud with a tag team partner. And they would do this. And Lance Storm, nothing really stuck for Lance until Dawn Marie shows up in ECW shortly after this. Because you're going to see, and I wish we could cover ECW TV, but it would be way too fucking hard to watch because it is not a good TV show. But Just Incredible's pathway, right? Even though he wins the feud, he never really moves up. And Lance Storm with Dawn Marie, and they mesh to become the Impact players. And that's what gets Lance Storm signed by WCW and eventually the WWF. And that's what moves Justin Incredible onto the World Championship. But always the bridesmaid, never the bride until, what do? You use the Shane Douglas method to put a pair of tits with you, and all of a sudden you're a main event star.
Especially in ECW.
Yep. But dude, again, here we go. A great match, right? And a lot of actual wrestling happens in this. The first two matches are the only two headlocks you will see in any match on this show. And it ends, of course, with a top rope powerbomb. The blonde bombshell from Candido, who Memphises his way around into stumbling into a pin before the 3 count.
I just want to at least acknowledge that fucking suplex to the outside, because
God,
shit
was awesome.
I felt that.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you...
There are a couple spots in this match that I know. It was the shortest match. It was 11 minutes, but the running tiger bomb.
How many tiger bombs are we going to see this night? It was like the super kick of the fucking show.
I haven't seen one since.
No. But in all due fairness, we only see like 3 super kicks in the whole show.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's the pre-super kick.
Yeah, we have the longest vertical suplex I've ever seen.
That's one of the
He's
longest
basically
ones.
holding him for like 2 minutes.
That's excellent.
This match is when you really start to notice how little padding there is on the outside.
Yeah.
Because it was sort of like quick cuts in the first match. You didn't really notice it, but in this match, I was like, "Holy fuck, that's all concrete."
That bump had to feel fucking terrible,
Dude. All of it had to feel
That's
terrible.
ice.
That's where the drugs come into play.
Yeah.
See, that's also-
Sonny brought actual cocaine to the ring. Backfired.
That's right.
Did it backfire?
That's how he won.
Lance got smacked it into Candido's face. Candido was good. It was Sonny's money that bought it, so Chris wasn't out that money. The whole first row got feeling real
I
good.
fucking heard Popeye's theme music, like when Candido got a whiff of that.
Yeah.
Just so easy level.
Coked
Yeah.
up. And then the finish came.
Yeah. Well, we got the ass rub from Sonny first.
Yeah.
And then she lost her top.
And then had to
And
get a
then the
shirt,
finish.
and
And
then had to
then
get a
the
shirt
finish.
put on, like one of the
The
security
jacket
guards
from
gave him
one
a
of the
jacket or
guys,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part of this match was the line in the commentary. We might see that ear come right off live on pay-per-view.
Nah.
That was fucking great. There's a good 3 minutes of this match dedicated to Candido's ear.
Yeah. Which should have been the whole. And now, in all due fairness, if this was an actual wrestling show, which is what I want. I love ECW. I love it. But it's not pro wrestling as we have been trained to enjoy.
Yeah,
right?
there's no story. The story element isn't there.
There's one match with story in it,
Yeah.
in the entire match, and it's not this one. They would have focused on the ear the whole time, right? But here's the thing. Let me ask you this. You knew who was the heel between Justin Incredible and Jerry Lynn because of all the entourage around Justin Incredible, right? Who's the heel in this match? Do you fucking care?
No. I can't tell, and I
No.
can't. I don't
I would
care.
think it'd be
No.
Chris Candido. But...
No, well, you think because he's got Sonny with him, and
Yeah.
they do the cheat backfire, but it takes you to the finish to realize who's supposed to be the heel or the baby face. Maybe you aren't fucking interested in wrestling storytelling. So the ear wasn't, and you know, like, okay, well, I like had a bunch of shit. I'm like, let me just delete this. I'm not gonna fucking take the piss out of a 25-year-old wrestling show because they're not working the ear.
How many stars you giving it?
All right, actually, I don't give stars.
It's
We
ears.
don't do
This
that.
is definitely
I'm
going to be
sorry.
ears.
It's not ears. No.
How is it not ears?
Because it's even better because I give it 3.5 sunny days out of 5.
Oh shit!
Why make an ear joke
See
when
what
you
you
could
did
bring
there.
up a dead guy's wife cheating on him all the time? Nothing good.
Right now, Chris Candido's sitting there watching us doing this podcast because it's like Beetlejuice. He hears his name a few times and he has to fucking tune in. And he's like, they got a point.
Or Sonny's listening to it in prison.
Jesus Christ.
Could you fucking
They're just
imagine?
playing it in there.
Could you imagine our Twitter getting like fucking Sunny, like her handle, like
That'd be
pops up
amazing.
there and goes, I have a few comments. I have a few thoughts.
Call in.
I have
please.
a few thoughts of this of your critique of that
So-
match.
She doesn't seem like the kind of person that would say thoughts. She would just mail us a bag of her own feces.
You know what? That's corny as shit of her.
It's all carny. That is a great way to describe ECW. No, if you could put one word on ECW 1998, it's carny. It is carny as fuck.
It fits.
We got this next segment, where I wrote just simply New Jack gets got by the fucking heel locker room.
He done got.
He got his ass whipped.
I didn't even do that. I just put New Jack with an exclamation point. That was it.
First of all, I'm watching this and I'm like, I've actually seen this I've seen this before on YouTube, so I'm like, okay, I remember this, but I for some reason don't remember so many little kids being around.
Oh yeah.
And New Jack's like, motherfucker! I'm like, Jesus Christ, what kind of parents are you?
Welcome to Ohio.
Here, kid, hold my.
Well, okay, fair enough.
Here, kid, hold my cocaine. I have to cut a promo.
Jones, there's a movie out there somewhere of you standing in front of the Ohio State line, just dropping to your knees and yelling, Ohio!
There actually is, yes.
There is, yeah.
I just watching New Jack just get beat up by 7 different people reminded me how fucking irredeemable the Dudley Boys were. Because that's a conversation for another time. Because they were heels, man.
They were
fucking heels.
excellent heels.
There were no redeeming qualities between them.
Nope.
They were just shitheads.
They were extreme heels.
It is at this point in the show that I realized that we were in 1998, and despite my memory telling me otherwise, the mullet is still alive and well.
It's a
in
kind of a big
1998.
thing.
It's in
Because
full force.
between the crowd and the wrestlers, there were mullets running by, beating up on people, and I lost track of who was who.
Just remember-
for a little bit.
You weren't even in like Columbus or Cleveland or Cincinnati or Toledo. You were in Dayton. I mean, that's borderline a step above Akron.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, you are. If Kentucky had to reach a little further north, they would have grabbed Dayton and brought him right back in, right? As an Ohio person, I'm sure.
But see, Kentucky wouldn't because they would just reach around.
See what you did there.
There it is.
No, so the New Jack pre-tape, right, always serves. The only thing that happened less on ECW shows than franchise Shane Douglas defending his ECW championship was New Jack actually having a match. It never did. Why
Not
fix
very
what's
often.
not broken? Because I'm like, oh, now, did people still fall for this in 98? Where New Jack's out, so his scheduled match where he versus Mother Teresa in a weapons match ain't gonna happen. And then at the end of the show,
There he
express
is.
the Natural Born Killers, which is my fucking...
With all of his weapons.
All of it comes out of the shop of card, and he cuts someone, and 3 different people in the front row get hepatitis spontaneously. But spoilers for the future. But New Jack gets hurt in a pre-tape. Here's a fun shout out to someone that I've tried to get listened to the show. If you watch the New Jack pre-tape when he's cutting a promo, to his right, our left, is a gentleman with facial hair and a bandana and a vest. That is Mr. Harry Slash of Harry Slash and the Slash Tones. Who does all of the ECW music and was featured in the ECW Acclaim games and wrote the This Is Extreme theme. Harry, who I am Facebook friends with, I have been trying to get to listen to the show since it started, and I told him that when we did an ECW show that I would mention and eventually make fun of him. So here we are. And we've
It's
arrived,
okay. He's not going to hear it.
and we've arrived at the point where, hey, Harry, how you doing? Now, let me ask you a question real quick fast. When standing that close next to New Jack, how many restraining orders did you violate by the natural order of things? And could you describe me, did ECW smell like domestic abuse, or did that come later?
Could you imagine that locker room? I thought that.
I can imagine it with the
Fucking
chaos.
love to be
Like, I can't even fucking imagine what that had to have been like back there.
me on my most debaucherous moment would be like a fucking...
Which has been debaucherous.
Which has been debaucherous. Would be like a rookie card compared to the fucking lightest day in ECW.
You couldn't even imagine. Like, the most fucked up things you could think of, and you could think of some fucked up shit.
Yes,
probably
I'm doing
Would
it
happening
right
probably
now.
be tier 1.
Doing it right now.
No, I'm doing it right now. I've heard some shit about ECW, like Axel Rotten talking about how there was not enough drugs to go around, so someone would inject drugs into their blood, then take some of their blood out and pass it to the next guy to inject it to their own body. That's hardcore. ECW.
Listen. And I cannot stress this enough. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
there
God.
was seriously some shit going on
there
back
Oh, man.
A
What a
whole lot
time to
of
be
shit.
alive. Or not. Just have the ECW roster would develop to
Where
be.
do you have to be in life where that's the decision you make?
Apparently, Dayton, Ohio, in August of 1998.
Jeff, how many stories in life do you have growing up in Ohio of just being like, oh, at least we're not in fucking Dayton?
It's true. It's true. It's like it's borderline like city and country. Like the people you see outside in that New Jack promo, like before he gets jumped, like it's pretty spot on for what you would expect from the demographic of people in Dayton.
Good old New Jack.
So anyway, this ends with the entire heel roster beating up New Jack.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to RVD, Sabu, and Bill Alfonso.
And those Japanese losers.
And those Japanese losers. They kept
It's
saying
fantastic.
Hakushi because that's what his WWE Jinsei Shizaki's WWE gimmick was. But
Can I just say that when you see RVD, you immediately now there are Hall of Famers in this pay-per-view. There are very good wrestlers in this pay-per-view. But as soon as you immediately see Rob Van Dam on TV, you fucking immediately know.
yep.
Like, you just know this guy has everything that you're supposed to have as a professional wrestler.
I specifically
Without
wrote-
even watching him fucking work.
Yeah,
you just see it.
And we're jumping ahead, but for the match, the second thing I wrote was RVD was just already light years ahead of the entire roster.
Yeah.
And you knew he was.
Yep.
Without question. But there's something, I don't know. I've watched quite a bit of ECW over the years growing up. Mm-hmm. I've watched a lot of promos because a lot of the TV shows were nothing but fucking promos in one match. But fucking Paul Heyman. There's something that never clicked until I watched the show the other night. And I was like, God damn, how did I not notice this? There's no way you didn't fucking notice this. The relationship between RVD and Sabu is Jay and Silent Bob, and it fucked me up. It fucked me up. I'm like, how did I not notice that shit before?
It's like, no, I
It
love
was
you too, bro.
perfect.
He's like, you had a part to play too, but
He
it's
was
mostly
actually fucking the same relationship.
yeah,
Body language.
absolutely, yeah.
I'm like, these motherfuckers, man. I
Yeah,
don't know if
Sabu
it
was
on
definitely
purpose or not.
Sabu was definitely the cuck in their relationship.
Yeah. He'll cut you though.
So there's that.
on a show full of blood feuds and Beulah's references and all kinds of other things, the subtle idea that, oh god, I forgot about the summer '98 when RVD and Sabu were tag champions while RVD was TV champion, and it was that whole one-upping one where someone doesn't even talk in the one-upping relationship. That was fucking enjoyable to watch. That was my favorite story.
Well, even
of
the
whole
finish of
fucking
this
show.
match,
Yeah.
played right into that, right?
Yep. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not
Because,
going to talk about the finish.
ladies and gentlemen, our match of the night sponsored by Concussion Protocol.
Oh my
my
god.
God.
Mike Awesome,
Awesome.
and Masato Tanaka.
This was my favorite match of the show.
It's a hell of a match, man.
It was a hell of a fucking match. I don't know anything about Mike Awesome. I don't know if he's ever done anything outside of ECW. I mean, he's not.
He's in WCW.
in WWE.
Yep.
Who was he in WWE?
Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome.
He was just Mike Awesome?
So he
No.
pre this he was Gladiator in Japan in
Okay.
FMW, which was just doing basically the shit that he did here, and then he became the fat chick killer and that '70s guy Mike Awesome in WCW.
Yep.
But most importantly,
Towards the end of
the
WCW.
only real knowledge idea that he would have done anything though is he was the first guy from the Invasion to win a championship in WWF.
Okay. Tell me how this guy, with as big as he is, and his fucking looks, and what this motherfucker can do in the ring, tell me how this guy wasn't a heavyweight champion.
It's amazing, right?
Could he just not talk?
No, he
Nope.
can fucking talk.
So what went wrong? You pluck this guy to 1998 and put him in there right now. He's main eventing SummerSlam.
It probably started when he did the suicide dive and got his head stuck in the barricade.
Yep.
That was probably his first concussion.
or was it later on when he ended up getting tossed over the top rope by Tanaka and then went head first through the table
Listen,
and didn't over rotate and just went right down on the concrete?
What we know about head trauma now versus 1998 and CTE and all that shit, this match was painful to fucking watch.
Yeah, dude.
Like every fucking, they're bending the fucking chair over skulls. I'm like, this is not good. And the man's dead. I'm like, I mean, he died for a totally different reason
Yeah, but-
that we know of. But like, god damn, this is violent as shit. This is not good for the brain.
Dude,
No,
the
it's hard to
headshots, fucking, like, first off, Tanaka, right? This fucking guy.
He's a tank, man.
he can
dude.
take a fucking beating.
Dude, man.
God.
Dude, if I need someone to
The
go
imprint
first
of his head.
through the door in any situation,
Just-
send Masato fucking Tanaka.
Just, hey, you need someone just to go first. You don't even need to finish the sentence,
No.
just to go first.
Masato Tanaka.
My
first.
God. This is also the first time that I started seeing like the barbed wire like scars and stuff on people. Mm-hmm. Like because Sabu has a whole bunch of that.
He has
scars
a ton of those, but Tanaka's are, because of his skin tone, is much more prevalent, and the fact that it's smoother. You know, what I mean? Where Sabu's a different type of rip. He's like Tanaka's like just like Japanese beef. And then the scars on top.
So he's Wagyu?
We
Wagyu.
We didn't just get
Wagyu.
Masato Tanaka, we got battle damaged Masato Tanaka.
It's like the He-Man figure, but you had to flick
it
a couple times.
And then, flips over and there's like a scar across his stomach and chest.
Yeah, and when they're like, we need a new line. Fucking battle damage Transformers. Fuck it.
That's right.
The unsung hero of this match.
It's the fucking chair?
No, the ropes.
Yeah.
Jeez, first off, what did they do in ECW with the ropes? Because first off, you didn't see anybody actually hit the ropes.
No, very rarely.
But but watching a 6'7", 290-pound man walk across the ropes like it's a fucking wooden beam and just stand there and then jump into the crowd, like over the barricade. What was going on with those ropes?
Well, they mentioned
those ropes
mentioned in commentary, I think it was in a different match, but the ropes have a steel cable in them.
They
have
WCW style.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed.
There's very little give.
Nobody hit the ropes in any of these matches.
Hard.
Lance Storm did because he's Lance Storm and he had to Canada his way, and then after but the second time, he just sold Falling Down, and that was
It's like, no.
This is better.
No.
Yeah, no, but who's doing Irish whips in an ECW show?
Right.
Only if you intend to do a handstand triple planche into a small package.
You know, the fascinating thing about Mike Awesome, and I'm glad you said what you said about him, Dave, is because I think, by and large, if you watched one of his matches, you have the same response. How the fuck was this dude not heavyweight champion at any given point in any of the bigger companies? Because he had everything.
Yeah,
he had a great facial
move.
expressions. Mm-hmm. He's agile as a motherfucker.
You're not used to seeing a guy that size be that agile,
No,
especially in 1998.
Not at all.
May I give you guys the actual reason?
I would love to know.
Okay.
But
if it's cocaine, I won't be surprised.
It is not cocaine.
Is it cocaine?
No, that would be...
That's a good second guess.
That would be a lot easier because a lot of people have made a lot more money than Mike Awesome while being on a lot more cocaine, including some of our most favorite wrestlers here on the podcast. Unfortunately, Awesome got labeled, fairly or not, with the worst thing you could be labeled as a wrestler, and that is unsafe in the ring. The fact that his WCW debut, regardless of the fact that his entire career in ECW was just beating the fuck out of people and just who's really protecting each other on bumps in ECW, right? They put him with Kevin Nash upon his WCW debut, and lo and behold, a few months later, he's a fat chick thriller in 70s pants and not a main event guy. Because he got the label being unsafe in the ring, and he never arose above hardcore title level in WWF because enough people had heard and had seen his matches and assumed he's just unsafe in the ring. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to work with the guy.
Money. Great.
It's important, regardless if
it's
or not. That's how he got it.
But
you can be a drug-addled wife beater, and hey man, if you're over, you're over.
You got the look, and you can work. That's it.
If you're unsafe in the ring, though, people aren't going to get.
But wrestling still tried to make Mr. Kennedy work.
They tried until Randy Orton deemed him
unsafe
in the ring.
Everybody knew he was unsafe even before that.
But it takes
worse than this.
I mean, if Prince Iakea said Mike Awesome is fucking unsafe in the ring,
why you gotta disrespect the name of Prince Iakea and his no fucking boots having
but if we were like, I don't know, maybe it's just Prince Iakea. But then Kevin Nash says it. That's one thing, right? You can, take Simon Dean. Here's the 2006 reference. All you want to the woodshed, and no one's going to care what Nova says. But as soon as Randy Orton says, oh, yeah, I got hurt wrestling him. Oh, OVW you go.
See, and you're talking about the chair shots in this match, right? My note here was just, match was just brutal, right? Mm-hmm. I actually think Tanaka's head broke the chair. I think his head hit the chair, not the chair hit his head.
Oh, yeah. It's actually like that's the static thing, and it's Tanaka's head that's moving through space.
I feel like there's a point in the match, like 2/3 of the way through, where Mike Awesome hits Tanaka with a chair shot right over the head, and I feel like Tanaka was like trying to level up, and then he hit him a second time. And Tanaka's like, nope.
So the body starts shutting down.
Just shit started shaking uncontrollably, and he just went down to the ground. So what you're saying is
he went from a full HP bar to blinking in 1 second.
I have a note. No, I'm like, Awesome hit Tanaka so hard that I've never seen a human get Control-Alt-Deleted before.
Oh, shit. But it's true.
Oh God.
We could talk about concussions all you want, because this whole show's full of terrible concussion protocol, or lack thereof. But this match is the only match I ever watched that actually made me feel like I had CTE watching it. But even more than that, we need to talk about Mike Awesome's mullet.
Because that shit had legs.
There's mullets, and we live now through reviewing 90s WCW. We've seen some fucking mullets. We've seen feathered mullets. We've seen wet. We've seen straight mullets, stringy mullets. We've seen Eddie Guerrero and DDP have their mullets intertwined in one grand, glorious interlocked mullet.
When DDP and Eddie Guerrero's mullets mesh, do you see it like you see in Spaceballs, where the Schwartzes are all kind of tangled and like DDP's got to put his foot up on Eddie Guerrero's knee to like attach them?
It's more like it's 1999. You're watching Cinemax at 1 a.m. and your parents aren't home. You have the volume all the way down, and there's the lesbians like rubbing each other and the kind of scissors kind of a thing. That's what their mullet.
It was a belly button. It was a belly button grind. Is what you're talking about.
But yes, it's full on.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The belly button grind? You haven't seen?
I've never heard it called that before.
Go back and watch the tape. They ground the shit out of their belly button.
That's not what they were trying to do, air quotes. They weren't rubbing belly buttons.
No,
that's what it looked like.
I think we could all stand here, right here, and I'm gonna stand for this. That it got the job done. Okay, so those fucking things walked. So that Pornhub could run.
Yeah, think about what those belly buttons did for you.
No, but speaking of lesbians, Mike Awesome's fucking mullet.
Wait, are you saying his mullet was a lesbian?
Oh no, I've never seen a mullet that made me look. I looked at him like, that looks like the mullet that an Australian lesbian trucker would have. You
Honestly,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's like hardcore, like the pure vertical concept of at least 18 inches from the top spike of his head to the back curl of the wet mullet. It's just like majestic.
So she's an Australian Large Marge, is what you're saying.
Yes. Absolutely, but like when Large Marge takes you, you don't have a choice.
Well, shit.
Thank you, appreciate it. But once again, another match that has fucking spot after. Oh my god, Mike Awesome gets power bombed onto his neck through a table with no mats at the ringside, and then all of a sudden there's a top rope move. That is the thing that wins the match, and it's a tornado DDT this time.
Under not one but two chairs.
On 2 chairs.
Great match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like I was damaged after it, but it was worth the price of admission. One of the top matches of the night.
Like, at what point during the pay-per-view are you like, it's too much? It's too much. I can't anymore.
You just don't.
I can't.
It's extreme.
Oh my god.
Oh no, yeah, and at this point I realized that we were an hour into a 2.5 hour show.
Yeah.
There was more to come.
So, as I was doing my prep work for this, I went through Wikipedia and I pulled up the article and was kind of going through the match times and everything. And the math of ECW was really confusing to me because, like, when you go into the network and you pull this up, it's a 2 hour and 40 minute show.
Yeah, it's a long show.
And there's an hour and 7 minutes of, like, wrestling matches. Mm-hmm. And only one of these matches goes 20 minutes, which is the next one we're going to talk about. And I'm like, how did they fill this time? Like, I watched ECW on TV down at the Whitfields with the volume down because if we woke up Debbie, we were all fucked. And that was with Ryan's dad being there with us.
It's because 10-minute intros they would do.
Yeah, oh my god, the long intros.
The long fucking intros and everything else.
Which was great when they were using licensed music, but when they're not anymore, fast forward that shit.
When the Dudleys come down to no music, it's awkward as hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really
Which would have been Highway to Hell. But then again, too.
Yeah.
So we got the Taz promo. And you know what's funny with Taz? And it's really fucking unfortunate that my man just didn't get to play in the big leagues the way he deserved.
Agreed.
Because dude was a fucking animal.
He was a beast.
He was intimidating.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how fucking tall he was. He would fuck you up. And you believed that he could, which is the whole point of wrestling. If you believe it, then it's real, right? But unfortunately, certain individuals did not like his look. You know, Vince, Hunter, so on and so forth.
Anyone that actually mattered at the end of the day.
Really fucking unfortunate. But that fucking beat me if you can survive if I let you.
That's incredible.
Fucking
incredible.
love that shit.
And just
That cuts you deep.
And the towel.
It was perfect.
Like the fucking shredded towel that he wore that just covered like 2/3 of his face and everything.
I have a whole thing. I'm going to save us time by going to the short of it, but I want to know that where in all of the backstage money for drugs and shenanigans and hookers and sharing each other's blood did somebody not have another tea towel for Taz? That thing was fucking getting shredded as we were watching. It's the same towel. My man, just go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get yourself a new black koozie. And we'll move along. It was bothering me. I was distracted by his thing because he has like over 1/2 of an eye, and I'm like, dude, like, who? And there's some shit that happens in ECW. All right, if I had $1 for every wrestler that came out in a cutoff sleeve, airbrushed themselves shirt or airbrushed at a carnival shirt that they were fucking wearing, right, and cut off jean shorts, I'd have a lot of dollars. And everyone's into their own gimmick, but on the grand scale of here's custom chairs and tables and claiming shit, somebody's like, I'm gonna take a towel. And I'm going to tatter that towel. And that towel's going to be hardcore. Like, really? Like, that's the fucking thing?
Yeah, that towel was extreme.
The towel was super extreme. All right, we're going to talk about this fucking horse shit of a show of a match that's next. Are we going to...
Well, real quick, Dudley promo was...
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Only one thing I really want to say about the Dudley promo. And it's almost kind of... It connects with the Taz promo. There is, like, an entire generation of wrestling fans. A large group. And we can shit talk the Peacock, the WWE Network, and all that all we want. But anyhow, sorry. sorry.
Dave just moved
Audience.
the ashtray closer to my mouth.
Noah's drinking a better beer, and I was like, not on my
No,
watch.
yeah,
Not on my watch, sir.
there's like an entire group of people who don't know how badass Taz was.
Yeah.
But there's probably even bigger group of people who don't realize the level of heel the Dudleys were. How genuinely shitty it was to watch them on TV because you wanted to see them get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Even if you were a fucking heel
they were
fan,
rooting against you.
If you were,
or you were rooting against them. I mean.
Yeah, if you're a fan of heels, you still want to see them get their ass whipped because they're shitheads and they needed to get their comeuppance. They needed to get
9 out of 10 of the worst things I've ever heard said in a pro wrestling ring were said by Bubba Ray Dudley.
They were fucking awful, and it was great because, again, I it's like such a thing, but like today's wrestling, heels have redeeming qualities, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. I need my heel to be not likable on any real level.
Now,
like Bully Ray, he got it. Bubba gets it. He understands what it means to be a heel, which is why the Bully Ray thing really worked, But like the Dudleys in 97, 98, 96 even, I think it was in 96, they were real heels where you want to throw things at them. You want to fight them, after the show because they said some shit about your fucking mother. You know what I mean?
I feel that way about Money in the Bank winner Damian Priest just on principle.
Oh, shit. You don't like Damian Priest?
Why you be topical? I'm not trying to be topical here.
Yeah. You didn't watch that show.
This is the second time.
You just read it on the internet.
LA Knight in there. I let it slide. I let you have your time. Now you slip at Damian Priest and like, you know what? This is absurd. Just like the fact that Jey Uso was the one who pinned Roman Reigns after 3.5 years is absurd. But listen here, fucking Michael Cole. What are we doing? Okay? Because let me tell you something about what
Did you just call me Michael Cole?
I did.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And
Fuck you.
He's going to elaborate. Here we go.
It's the idea that we gotta fucking, and this is not about you, but this is about in general, that we gotta fucking act like every goddamn motherfucking modern wrestling person is the fucking be-all, end-all. Like, I like Gunther. I like to see one grown man slap another sweaty grown man as much as possible. You used to have to pay $9.99 a month for that shit, and now we get to see it every night every week on wrestling. But the fact that we gotta act like he is in any shape or the matter a better Intercontinental Champion than the Honky Tonk Man, that's just lies.
We all know the Honky Tonk Man sucked dick.
The Honky Tonk Man,
the fact that
he's making heavy eye
the
contact
fact that you
over
grabbed
here.
your mic and you leaned in on Herb just to say that while making serious
Because
eye contact.
no one knows, just the same as I know, Jeff knows, Mac knows, Honky Tonk Man was overrated. The world knows it. God, whatever you believe in knows it.
There are 3 metrics of which you could describe who's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The longest reign, the most reigns, or the most watched Intercontinental title match of all time. All right? I think we could all agree on that whole idea. And the Honky Tonk Man is one of them. Okay? Chris Jericho, by the way, is the second. And when he's not busy helping his wife storm the Capitol, he's ready for a 10th Intercontinental title reign.
Oh, did that happen?
Oh yeah, we talked.
His wife was all about
We
that
talked
shit.
about that.
And so was he.
His wife was there.
We
That's why
talked about
my
that on the
stock of
show.
Chris Jericho
I
has
might
declined.
have actually blocked that out.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
just
what?
from my
I don't
memory.
blame you.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe it.
Hey, listen, if I have to deal with the world with Hulk Hogan as the person he is, you gotta fucking deal with Chris Jericho being who he is.
His father was a professional
I don't
hockey
give a
player.
flying shit.
It checks all my boxes, man.
Mac, you reconciling this information is between you and your God.
You know what?
Shit.
One day we are going to have like this real serious conversation about where do we separate the art from the artist, because we've danced around this so many times on this
really
show.
have.
We've skirted around and we're like, you know what? We'll say that
we'll
for
talk about
another
it later.
day.
We're
Yeah,
going to do that right
we
now,
never
right?
do.
Because of how many fucking horrible abuse allegations are on this ECW roster on this entire fucking show,
God.
right?
Dude, if we do that, no, this is the honest to God truth what we need to do. If we ever have that episode, we gotta drink hard liquor.
We're just gonna fucking
Shot.
We'll get
Just go for
real.
Be doing-
We got a
Yeah.
bottle of absinthe from Europe.
So, okay. Now on to the next match.
All right.
I did just want to make one note about
Yes,
the Taz
yes.
promo. Going back to that, he called out Austin.
Yep.
He calls out Goldberg.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
does.
He calls out fucking Mike Tyson
He did.
for some
He does.
reason.
Who would have ate his ass alive, but it's cool.
little guy. You're calling out all of these guys. Aren't you just so cute?
And I'm like,
Listen,
I
he'll
was
tap
like,
your ass.
he's a bad
I tap my ass
motherfucker.
out, and he'd probably take Bill Goldberg because Bill Goldberg could go fuck himself. I would hope that if Transformers were real, that they would line up in a row and just take Goldberg to Pound Town via the fuck bus in a non-consensual way. But Mike Tyson,
How's
no.
that for a visual?
Mike Tyson gonna fuck you, and you can struggle all you want, but we have legal documentation. It ain't gonna do you no good.
There's several places I want to go from this.
Well, shit.
Did I send you guys the video? I don't know if I did or not. I don't know if I did or not. But
the Transformer fuck bus?
Did I just really give you guys the visual of the Transformers running a train on Goldberg?
yeah.
Oh, good.
Probably while Taz is cucking.
Oh.
With the towel over one towel over each head.
Mike Tyson just staring at Taz, and he knows.
He knows.
He's done fucked up. One of these two people is leaving this room in man tonight.
Well, Taz was hoping Mike Tyson would hear about it and show up on ECW. That's what he wanted.
I guess they would. I guess
Yeah.
that was good.
Did I ever send you guys the video where somebody did like a Nintendo 64 like mod of a Goldberg Bret Hart match where Goldberg doesn't fucking kill Bret Hart?
Listen here, motherfucker.
That's hilarious and hurtful.
I don't even know how to process
The thing where he does the kick right.
He does the kick right.
Of all the things we joked about, this feels the most wrong.
That's where you draw the line. You motherfucker. That's where you draw the line.
It's Fred. He doesn't deserve it.
That's where you draw the line. This man, listen, audience, you've been listening to this show long enough to know. Get the fuck out of here now. That's what makes you feel uncomfortable.
I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, okay.
Anyways,
I think he'd like that joke if he was
I
still
hope he
able to
would.
smile. Because, Goldberg kicked him in and gave him a stroke. I'm in pain. I'm so sorry, Brett. I can't even promise to edit this out because I don't edit this show anymore. not to imply that I ever did.
Oh my goodness.
So anyways, back to ECW.
Meanwhile, back at the fucking ranch.
RVD and Sabu defending their World Tag Team titles against Hayabusa and Shinzaki.
You know, this is a match that looks so good on paper that you're just like, fuck. Like, how could you not?
I'll tell you what, for me, I was excited to watch this show,
Yeah.
but the fucking whistle made it unwatchable.
Oh,
It's
man.
terrible.
Fonzie's whistle, though.
It is unwatchable. This match was unwatchable for me.
That's pretty strong words.
That is a bold statement. Fonzie's whistle. How many?
It got to be
shows-
too much. Like, I knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it was too much. Like, halfway through the match, I'm like, should I just fast forward? Should I just mute it? I'm like, what the fuck?
It is brutal.
It's
like he
too
just
Gotta
much.
suffer through it, man.
Yeah.
He took Jimmy Hart's
Oh, I
microphone
did.
gimmick and he
I did.
and he
And it was
dialed
not
up.
great.
This match was so good on paper, and you could just say, like, this is the what I call the Meltzer match. This is Dave Meltzer trying to book a fucking match between two Japanese legends, Rob Van Dam, who is light years ahead of everybody else in the business, and Sabu, who we had all not figured out yet, had lost it, right, to a certain extent. This is the most botched match
Oh my god.
I've ever seen.
So many messed up spots.
Well, it started really slow, but once it got going, it really got going.
It did.
And then there were like a couple botched spots, like holy fuck.
They needed to slow down.
Yeah.
Well, okay, my critiques of this match. I honestly, it was a great match in general. Like, it was a lot of fun. It was awkward, though. It was a lot of what I assume was lost in translation, kind of.
Yep.
Between all combatants, all opponents, and you could tell just communication errors.
Yeah, it was
the
off.
match was is the longest match of the night.
Yeah.
It was like 5 minutes too long, easily. They could have shaved off some time on this fucking thing.
Well, they had to,
kept it to 13 minutes maybe, and kept it kind of tight, concise, and fast paced, and it'd have been so much better.
Oh, man.
Less opportunity for fuck ups.
Yeah.
But I found it. Okay, two things. First of all, how badass is Shinsuke? Motherfucker, man.
Dude,
this
so
he's
good.
so
Hakushi
cool.
was ahead of. Here's a fun fact that I just had to put in there. One of our favorite games of all time, No Mercy, and all of its predecessors, WrestleMania 2000, WCW NWO Revenge, and WCW World Tour. He's the guy who they modeled most of those moves off of. He's the one he did those moves and they did the animation, including all the praying power bombs. He's the inventor of the Razor's Edge.
Which is bananas.
Which is awesome. So this guy is like a legend in so many geeky ways.
Yeah.
And shout out to Hayabusa / Hannibal, because he was in
World Tour.
World Tour. Yeah,
That's Hannibal.
that's Hannibal. Sabu is like a force of fucking nature. He exists in another reality. Like, I was so enjoying just watching him on the apron, like swiping at people. He's like a fucking cat. You know, cats like when you're just
They just
walking
smack
by
at
living
shit.
life,
Yeah.
and your cat goes, motherfucker.
That might
That's what he
explain.
was like the whole time.
That might explain, like, Sabu was a cat in a previous life,
He
and he
had to
just
have
had
been.
tendencies.
He's just phasing in and out of
Yeah.
reality. Yeah.
Like, he's a guy who his gimmick is his gimmick.
If anybody had a laser pointer, he would have been out of that fucking arena real quick. He'd just
He
carry it
probably
over
would
and
have
he's
been.
gone.
But like, I just love Sabu just being in character. And I love how, like, the whole time in the beginning where, like, they're doing, like, the introductions and everything, and RVD is, like, you know, showboating and all that, and the whole fucking time, Sabu's just sizing him up going, how quickly can I get to the fucking bone marrow? Like, he's just like, I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers. But that made their tag team so good. They were so opposite.
Yeah,
from
that
each other.
dynamic was great.
There's an excellent dynamic throughout the whole show. And Sabu oozes legitimacy.
Because he was legitimate.
Because he just comes off as a legitimate crazy person.
Was it suicidal,
Yeah.
homicidal, genocidal maniac? And when you're 14,
believe it.
13 years old, you believe that shit.
Yeah.
Like, this
Well,
That's
motherfucker's
just
crazy.
scary as shit.
Upon retrospect, now here in our late 30s, early 40s, we're looking at like, I feel like the Hague would have, International Criminal Court would have intervened in Sabu at some point if he was truly genocidal. I'd like to see documentation.
I think actually they like unleashed Sabu between matches.
Ah.
Like they flew him like to Switzerland and then gave him an assignment, and like there was some like coup in like Zimbabwe
Yeah.
that never
He's
happened
the Winter
because
Soldier
Sabu
of
was
the
there.
ECW.
I can
He is
see
the
that.
Winter
Yeah.
Soldier.
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
can
still
definitely
stuck
see
on the
that.
visualization that Paul Heyman is like, Sabu, we need you to go out there and do a tag team match. He's like, you gotta pay me, Paul. He's like, or do I gotta do this? And he's got the laser pointer, and he's like fucking just chasing him out to the ring.
Yeah, He's doing catnip while everyone's
I was
going
going to say the drug budget for
Yeah.
Sabu was real low because it was just catnip.
I would seriously bet my house that Sabu has smoked catnip. Like,
probably
would
doing it right now.
Bet my house.
If he's not, he's listening to this podcast and he's thinking, I should probably do that.
Why didn't I think of that years
I love-
ago? Shit.
Like there were so
Because
many
you're in
botches.
ECW and took too many headshots, you can't think of anything.
There's so many botches in this match. There's so many just weird the fucking table.
I was going to say.
Just, like, yo, that table was like set up, and then it stroked his Fu Manchu. Said this is
Not gonna work for me, brother.
I wrote my
seriously, man.
I wrote in my notes, the table just quit the match.
The
Table had enough.
Table's like, we're going over our time. I'm done. And it just lays down.
It did. And they're just like, fuck it, we just got to do it anyway.
Like
And
normally it just kind of half breaks and then the crowd poos, but the table like it didn't just fall. It like cane bumped,
It's like-
or like went down to one knee and real slowly
did.
fell over. And then the Japanese guys who don't know any better, they're like, fuck it, we'll do a half.
we're just gonna
splash
go
on
do
this
it,
thing.
yeah.
That'll get over.
yeah.
But the match overall was enjoyable. Overall,
I would say the enjoyability. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that I had one note. RVT's guillotine drop on the barricade was fucking brutal.
Oh my
dude.
god.
oh my god,
Match, that move was ahead of its time, and you forget how awesome it looked before WWE like sterilized.
Yeah.
Corkscrew guillotine leg drop.
So when did the Hardy Boys debut in the WWE?
They were there at this point, but they weren't main roster guys until after this.
Because I sure as shit saw Swanton and a Whisper and a Win in that match.
Yeah, so they were.
So did they.
Yeah, right? I'm like, motherfuckers! That's where you got it
we
from.
can do that.
I'm pretty sure they didn't begin. We have to check my facts. Anyone that listens, I'm the wrestling historian that listens to the show, so no one's going to go. But I'm pretty sure they didn't debut as the New Brood or with any of those with Michael Hayes until right after this. So, but yeah,
I imagine that, that Mr. Brown here at home, visualize this if you will.
go on.
If you will.
If you will, Cody Rhodes.
I envision that, he goes home, gets off of work, drives, the 30, 40 minutes to get home, fighting traffic, swearing at the people next to him, listening to wrestling entrance music. He pulls up to his home, wonderful home, suitcase in hand. I don't know what the fuck's in the suitcase, but something's in it.
A hand.
Fucking hand. Is it Mae Young's child?
I was going to say, is
It's
it
no, I don't know whose hand it is. I'm too afraid to ask at this point.
Okay.
But keep going.
And he walks in, he puts the suitcase down, kisses the wife on the cheek, pats the little one on the head, kiss the baby on the cheek. I'm going to go downstairs, honey. I'll be back up. And he goes downstairs, and there's just this giant fucking scroll of wrestling facts. And he just, unrolls it and just begins to sit and read. And that's what he does for 3 hours a night.
He just sits on a throne.
A throne
There's
of
just a-
fucking kayfabe.
I yelled
That's
at
the
my
King of the Ring throne in his basement.
Oh my god.
I yelled at my wife the other day because she's Lily, our oldest daughter, was having a hard time distinguishing. She doesn't like wrestling, so she doesn't like movies that have fighting. So because she doesn't like fighting, she doesn't like to watch people really fight. So she doesn't like wrestling because she doesn't want to watch people really fight. And I hear my wife start to tell her, well, movies aren't real. Those are just people pretending to fight. And then there's wrestling, which is, and I yelled, kayfabe! Ran across the length of the house. Just like me, I'm like, kayfabe. Because there are grown people in this world who are still kayfabe. And I'll be damned if my daughter doesn't have to awkwardly go to school when she's 10, not realizing that it's not real. If I did that shit, you have to pay that price too. It's possible. Yeah,
See,
it's possible.
I look at it slightly different, Jones. Everything you just said, he goes downstairs into the basement. You guys know, when Prince passed away, they were talking about how he has a vault just full of weeks worth of music that he recorded that will never be released. I see Noah after the family goes to bed. He goes downstairs. He turns on one oversized lamp. Doesn't turn all the lights on in the basement, just the lamp. Sets up his 1988 WWF ring, pulls all the wrestlers out, and he has 16 years of Monday Night Raw that he scripted on his own, recorded with those wrestlers, and it's better than the shit we get on TV.
That's possible.
I can believe that.
It's WWF Superstars. Raw didn't start till 1993, so doing an 88 thing wouldn't have really
Point
worked.
exactly.
There it is. I want to say about this fucking match.
Way to sell it.
The first of all, the most amazing concept of this match falling fucking apart that you can catch, and because this is the point where I noticed ECW's camera style. The one wide shot, and then one camera on each of the ring. And you would only cut away if something brutal was happening, but you stayed on that wide shot, the hard cam, the whole time. At one point, when the table just decided that it's not going to work for me, brother, Sabu goes to grab it, and he cuts his fucking hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And he's legitimately messing up, and he yells as clear as day to Hayabusa, "Kick me." And Hayabusa kicks him, and then you see him out there during the wrapping
with
his
his hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Because he sliced himself deep.
Yeah,
And I'm
you see
like,
him like
"That's
jumping
fucking-"
up and down, like holding
Yeah.
onto his hand.
That
Yeah.
was a bad for him to sell it like that. That shit was.
You
no
knew it was
good.
not right. Yeah, for sure. But once again, for the fourth consecutive match, a move off the top rope onto an object fucking does it. With a double leg drop 5-star frog splash through the table, and the champions retain.
Great match, and I mean, I know it was sloppy as shit and maybe a little too long, but man, Sabu's just a joy to watch. Just do what he does.
This is the worst match of the night for me.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still good. I still watched it.
There are no bad matches except
It's
for the
like
main
a-
event.
Well, how about RVD changing direction like midair? Like
the
they
dude
didn't.
he's just
Anti-static
capable.
gravity wasn't fucking on today.
Yeah,
He just does that. It's
like he
amazing.
jumps from the far corner and like turns in midair to like land that move.
Is that some shit?
That was the thing for me in the match that I really
and
gravitated
the camera
towards.
didn't even catch all of it, unfortunately.
Just
Yeah.
his athleticism in that match and how just crisp and clean and just things that he's doing. Just the kicks, the roundhouse kick right into another kick just was so seamless. It was so good.
Just four really capable fucking performers doing what they do. I mean, and language barriers be damned. They did a great job in that match, and it was exactly what it needed to be. You know what else needed to be? The fucking FTW title match. Listen,
Wait.
what?
I got a rating.
Oh, give me your goddamn rating.
First of all, I want to say that I thought Fonzie was useless the entire match.
Yep.
And I'm wondering why he's there until I remembered, oh, yeah, the Van Daminator. Like, the entire reason he exists was to hold the chair during that spot where he kicks it. I'm like, all right, I'll allow it. But I rate this match 2.5 long-haired tan dude that botched a move off the top rope while going through a table out of 5.
Okay, well,
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's just
That's-
right there. They're all.
it's a little wordy, but we can get behind
Yeah,
it.
it's a solid rated
Yeah.
skill.
So,
FTW title.
yeah, so first thing I wrote is Taz, when he's coming out, he radiates fuck around and find out.
He does.
He just does.
He does carry himself well. Yeah.
And I think that, God bless Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm glad that he had his time with ECW to stay and remain relevant. He made his way to WCW for a while, towards the end.
Feud with Goldberg.
He had a feud with Goldberg, but Bam Bam will never be. He hadn't been Bam Bam in a long time,
No.
unfortunately. But he was a big deal in the 80s and in the early 90s.
He was still a
It
name.
was. Yep.
This match I really, really enjoyed. It's funny, for as over the top as this pay per view was, and we're not even at the main event, but like how violent it was, and the big spots, the concrete spots, and the tables, and all that shit. The fascinating part about all this to me, I kept thinking the whole show, and it kind of crystallized during this match. As violent and over top as it is, none of it tops Hell in the Cell like 2 months earlier. None of it does.
Yeah, that's a good.
None of it does.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
think about
not
that
even
for a second.
close.
Like,
Yeah.
Foley had, we talked about it when we talked about Hell in a Cell. Like, there's what Mick Foley and Undertaker did can physically not be topped safely ever again.
Nope.
No, it wasn't even done safely then.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think anything you do that is more, it comes off as more violent, loses the threshold of pro wrestling.
Yeah,
Right,
And
like-
it's just violent for the sake of being violent.
Yes, I think that is the most violent you could have a pro wrestling match be while still being a pro wrestling match. Because anything else is just ultra violence,
Yeah, and
which
it's
has
just,
its own audience, I'm sure, but not here.
it's just so wild. Like, and this show was all over the fucking place with violence. But like, I kept thinking, like, though, just get thrown off the fucking cell, choke slam through the cell, the thumbtacks. It's still not like they're not even touching what they did.
Nope.
No, and I think there is an added element of holy fuck to what WWE did with the Hell in a Cell match, because there is such a spike in the shock value of that. In
Yes.
ECW, this is what you're getting every match, and it's staying basically within like a top and bottom threshold. Like you would see like a wave pattern. It just kind of sits there. But in WWE, if you're graphing the shit out, it's It's just standard kind of wrestling stuff, some kind of spots, and then holy fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so just outside of what they do. And they did it better than ECW would have done anyway.
If everything's violent and extreme all night, nothing is.
Well, I mean, but put it in perspective. Your opening match is Jerry Lynn and Justin Credible, and then you build up, rightfully so. They are building up the ultra violence to get to our main event, and they pass through this title match on the way, right? For Hell in a Cell '98, your opening match was fucking Jeff Jarrett and X-Pac, right? You know what I mean? So like you're setting a different style of
a whole different tone.
Yeah, and then for it to turn into what it turned into, that's a way. You're talking about peaks and valleys. Woo.
Have we talked a lot about Jeff Jarrett since Noah's not been on the show?
I don't think you've reviewed a single Jeff Jarrett match until we are, but lo and behold, Jeff Jarrett will once again
just
appear.
right on
you
cue,
motherfuckers.
Right
I
on
just
cue.
gotta say, so I went to the AEW. I took my nephew to his first AEW show for his birthday when they were in town a few months ago, and Jeff Jarrett shows up on the show, and I fucking lost my mind. He does this My World thing, and I just screamed, and I could tell all the people were here. That's how I know I'm having a good time at a wrestling show. If everyone there around me is irritated when I open my mouth, I've been having a good time. And Jeff Jarrett came out. I was like, at this point, I'm like, my brother, the infamous Drew on the show. He's like, do you want to get out of here? I'm like, Jeff Jarrett's already wrestled. What can we do that will top this at this point?
How did you handle Jeff Jarrett in the ring?
Drew had his son there. So Drew wasn't. He was only one sheet to the wind, not all three.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, that's why we surround him. We pad him with young children to encourage him to act responsibly. Because Drew would have gotten in a fight with. He was saying some dark shit earlier, and he was dead sober.
Listen, when someone says they were saying dark things, that doesn't leave a lot to the
never good.
imagination. 'Cause
No.
I know it went in a direction.
Do we see Drew being like Stan's father in South Park, where he's like the little league games and he just starts taking his shirt off? He's like, "Come on, let's go."
No. First of all, to give Drew the Randy Marsh vibes it would be such a compliment to when Drew is wasted that I could not. If I had to give like an idea of who Drew is when he's drunk, I would say like, you ever see a space documentary and see a black hole? Right,
Okay.
yeah. And now if the black hole was like, hypothetically, in a row full of children loudly, soberly talking about Paige's sex tape when she came out through the crowd and making references to that. It's like, that young lady didn't have a choice in that, Drew. And there's like little kids around. He's like, I don't care. Like, you know what we need right now,
That
Drew?
checks out.
I think you need to go get some pretzels. Put some shit right now until these ladies are off the screen.
Just go get some pretzels.
Let's get some fucking pretzels. But you know who didn't get pretzels? Tam and Bam Bam Bigelow, because they were fucking
yes. Back to
busy.
the match.
Yeah, that's a segue. right there,
Listen,
folks.
so the match was exact. Okay, so interestingly enough, of all the matches of tonight, this is the only one, the first of two that actually had a story attached.
Yes, that's
to
what
it.
I wrote
Yeah.
too.
And I like that there was and
Yeah, and
Paul
they
Heyman
showed it beforehand.
and I
background.
remember like Taz like locking up Douglas all those years ago. I remember watching that shit like the highlights on the TV show because they didn't really show it.
Yeah, the
anything.
filter
That's
came
where
in
his,
nice shot.
yeah, that's where his
Yeah.
injury came from.
I love it because it made sense. It gave Taz the rub to look like a big star, and it gave Bam Bam something to fucking do.
I can't do it. I keep trying this fucking ashtray here. I can't do it. I gotta drink a real iced tea. I'm gonna go masturbate.
I'm afraid
in
to
the
try
kitchen.
when I go home now.
So you're gonna go masturbate in the kitchen?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do something to get the taste out of my mouth.
What do you do? No, I'm not gonna ask.
So you know what? It's better not to ask.
It's better leave that to the
leave that
imagination.
alone.
Yeah.
So
Right.
one of my favorite things about professional wrestling, which we don't get enough of in today's current, at least in WWE. AEW is actually a little different, thankfully. We don't get enough blood feuds. We don't get enough I fucking hate you, and I will
true.
do everything in my power to end your career.
We almost did with Riddle and Seth Rollins.
I was so close.
Almost.
So close.
Yeah.
It was getting real weird and personal.
It was.
And I love that it was. We need more blood feuds. We don't need like 4 going at once, but like 2. 2 good blood feuds. Mid-card, main event. Just kind of give the ladies a blood feud. They could pull that shit off. It can get real fucking
Personal.
real.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I felt like this was like a good. I mean, obviously the main event was a blood feud for sure, but like this match was a blood feud and it was fun. It wasn't amazing, but Taz always delivers. At least then in '98, my man was the top of his physical game, and he was believable. As short as he walked like he was 6 foot fucking 7.
Yeah, no. Why I like this match is it's the first match that if a person was watching that had never watched even ECW before, but wrestling, could see the story told before anything else. Here's a huge, bald-headed, tattooed, enormous motherfucker, and here's a short dude that looks legitimately badass. Who wins between someone who's short but knows how to fight and is big and is maybe a little slow and a little bit past? They're both tough guys, and so it's an easy to understand feud. Then you add the benefit. The only thing he did all fucking night was Shane Douglas on commentary was add his context to this match, and that's boom right there.
Listen to fucking shout out to fucking Shane Douglas. Was it Dean Troy?
Yep.
Fucking it's weird that I remember.
No, Troy Martin.
Troy Martin. I was fucking close. Yeah. Shout out to Troy Martin for yinzering it up all fucking night.
He does.
That motherfucker was Pittsburgh all over the booth, and it was kind of annoying a little bit. But I also want to shout out to fucking Joey Styles for acknowledging that Shane Douglas was actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
On color comment, because he was actually
he
not
does.
doing a
And
bad
Joey's
job.
usually doing those shows by himself.
Yeah.
So,
It was nice hearing another fucking person with him.
It was. But
Yeah, for me, I really like this match. For being the only Falls Count Anywhere match, it seemed the least extreme out of all the other matches
Considering yes.
that we watched. I've always had mad respect for Bam Bam.
yeah.
And like you said, Taz is fucking intimidating as hell. And he sells his size
He
well.
walks like he's 6'7".
Like he sells the persona. And the spot through the ramp.
So good. I knew that shit was
badass.
coming, but it still gets me
because
fired
they
up.
kept talking about them going through the ring before, so you knew something like that was going to happen. They were setting the stage for it, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to stop the match. They're probably both dead." And then Bam Bam comes out first, and then Taz gets out
Watching
behind him, and then
Taz climb
drops
out
him in
was
the
so
Taz
fucking
mission.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah, and he just locks him in it. That was the quickest tag in submission.
Was it a tap though, Joe? Or was he reaching?
He was. It depends on who you ask.
Yeah,
As I like to refer to it, the Dayton screw job.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, nobody
I'll
calls it.
drink to
Coming soon to a podcast, a future podcast episode near you. Did Bam Bam tap? I don't think he did.
Oh, you land on that side?
I think he was screwed.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
He went backstage and hawked a loogie right in Paul Heyman's face.
Oh shit.
First of all,
thick
and
one.
then he he writes the words WCW. I like the intrigue there, and I think it's a good out for Bam Bam, right? But I don't think you need it at this point. Bam Bam had crossed, in my opinion, the Terry Funk bridge verse in ECW, where it doesn't matter what he did. He's an upper echelon. He's a top ECW dude. I think what the fuck good is a rope's going to do in a no disqualification? In Falls Count Anywhere match, you're just going to climb up.
Yep.
Right. But I think it was at that point, it avoided the one thing that every match had done. It's this for tonight. It's like, here's a fucking crazy amount of spots. And then we're going to end it on a slightly less crazy spot or more
Off the
crazy
top rope.
off the top rope, right? And in which case, so the big 5 seconds ago, oh my God, has been replanted as the finish, but then, but this time they went through, and before anyone had the chance to they did the minute sell under the ring where everyone got their shit, and then they went right into it, and they didn't give us a chance to forget about the previous spot.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it.
No, this was a nice bridge match between what you saw and what you're going to see. I think it's a good way, as we always kind of say with the WWE cards and stuff, they always have certain matches to kind of break up big moments that you're supposed to have in the pay-per-view. My favorite part of this match was I think the hardest thing that we actually saw in the entire pay-per-view was Bam Bam slipping on the concrete floor and face planting on one of the chairs.
Dude, I fell for him. I fell for him.
Because there are times when when you see a grown-ass man fall or a grown-ass woman fall and they don't get up right away. And you know
that shit stinks
because
you've
many
been
of us,
there.
I've been there,
Yeah,
and I'm sure, and maybe not as public a way. I'm sure you guys have probably been there too. Mine was in front of a lot of fucking people, but like I saw that, and I was like, I understand, I know,
I feel it.
and that fucking chair went home and bragged to all of his friends what happened. He said, I fucking put Bam Bam down before Taz did.
Bam Bam down, man. And then New Jack did coke off me. It was a good night.
Well, it was a good night.
But that's actually, so New Jack's job was apparently to put all the seats back after the pay-per-view was over, but the way that they got him to do it is there was a line of coke on every single seat.
There's an image I have in my head now. That's really funny. Actually.
Yeah, they ain't paying for maintenance.
Hold it.
There we go.
There you go. But yeah, I felt for Bam Bam on that one for sure. Because the other note I had about this is everybody in the arena was a part of the pay-per-view at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just the entire arena. If you were in that lower bowl, you were in the match.
You were in, man.
Yep.
That was a
So,
good match.
I love it.
It was 13 minutes, also a little long. Honestly, a couple of these matches were a little long, but it was a good match.
The crowd was hot too.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
and it's funny watching it back all these years because like the same chants they were doing in 1998 they're doing today.
Yep.
It's just a lot fewer cell phones.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Way fewer, and then the flash bulbs. That's what caught me off for these big moments, was all the
Yeah.
flash bulbs.
I missed
Yeah.
the flash bulbs.
Yeah.
Guys, main event.
Are you gonna give it a rating?
Oh, I am. It's 3.75 tatter towels out of 5. And we're doing a weighted scale because of just that energy that we hit here in the main event is indescribable for a pro wrestling show. But, all right. Instead of going through all of the shit...
Who was in the bathroom that they had to stay out there for like 13 minutes before
Oh
the match
my
started?
god. Somebody was like dropping a lot of
Somebody was
something.
absolutely
That
in the
was-
bathroom that was not ready. I'm looking at Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, I had forgotten
I
about
assume it was Sandman.
how
Oh, they
big
had lost Sandman. They legit lost him somewhere in the arena.
he was at a dive bar like 2 blocks down in fucking Dayton, Ohio.
They had to kill so much time, which is fine because anytime you get heel Dudley's on the mic, it's always entertaining. But it was like I fast forwarded.
I
so saw
forgot
somebody
how
come out.
big the Dudley's entourage was.
I forgot how big Bubba was.
Joel
He
Girder.
lost
true,
a lot of
yeah.
weight.
That's true.
And even just like a couple years later, he lost a lot of weight.
I kind of imagine that Sandman, and a couple of people in ECW locker room like this, but Sandman's one of those drunk people that he only goes one direction until you turn him. Otherwise, so it's like a puzzle game. Like you got to try to figure out how to get him down a fucking hallway.
Yeah, then you have to do it with a ladder.
Yeah,
that he's carrying.
Oh boy,
I
it is.
just had his visual because you said that. Of Sandman being backstage. Because even while they had to go 13 minutes before they found him to direct him to the stage, somebody didn't direct him properly because he kept going when the music hit because they still didn't come out. Like the music hit and the Dudleys were just standing there for like 2 minutes before a ladder fucking comes out, and you just know they lost. Like, whose job is it supposed to be to fucking watch Sandman again? Go fucking find him or you're fired.
Right now I'm imagining like what's going on just on the other side of the curtain, and I imagine that Sandman's like that kid on Legends of the Hidden Temple who couldn't put the fucking monkey statue together, and he's not allowed to go out until he fucking hits it. It's 3 fucking pieces, kid.
Together, motherfucker.
No, not a single fucking. Like, there were no future leaders of America on that fucking show. They're all struggling with that fucking monkey.
So my first initial thoughts of this match when the Dudleys come out is, look, it's Joel Gertner. He's a, you know what? It's a fucking ghoul of a gimmick. Like fuck him. He does so good at being literally slimy and just looking like he.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He like bleeds like Cheetos. Like he's so good though. I mean, I also had a moment of clarity about Joel Gertner and the fucking referee and Alfonso.
John Finnegan.
And I'm thinking to myself, there's like a missed opportunity in wrestling history for like a league of like evil officials. Just all like fucking fuck Paul, was it Paul the fucking in the 80s the ref was it Paul? You know what I'm talking
Dangerous
about?
Danny Davis.
Paul, Jesus Christ. Dangerous Danny Davis. I don't know where the fuck I got Paul from. Paul Roman.
There's a lot of Pauls flopping around on this show.
Fucking Paul.
Yeah.
You know what you did, Paul.
Yeah, Danny Davis,
Fucking
Nick
Paul.
Patrick, Alfonso, all those motherfuckers just get a fucking stable and just never wrestle. They just call things poorly.
No, yeah. I think Joel Gertner, I've never seen someone whose gimmick was that he looks like he gives teenage girls Suboxones before. But that...
Jesus Christ.
but that's his gimmick.
You just immediately said it. Just looked right at fucking Herb, and you just stared at him afterwards.
Well,
Did I?
I often wonder where your brain goes to get this. And then I remember I don't want to know.
No. It's a dark place.
This podcast is going to be 40 minutes of us just laughing.
I don't apologize for that.
Nope.
So what was the most fucked up thing you saw in this match, guys?
So, okay, real talk, I didn't enjoy this match at all.
Oh.
Look, it's weird, man. Like, and it sucks because I was looking forward to it. Because I remember the 3D heard around the world. Look, I'm going to drink for Beulah. Because she's the hottest lady in ECW history, in my opinion.
She is quite hot.
She is prettier than Dawn Marie. She's prettier than Sunny. She's prettier than Beulah. She was this great character that existed for years.
Yeah.
She was like the catalyst for so many things for Tommy Dreamer, Raven, and all that. And they put her out, go have a family, whatever. Are they still together?
Yeah.
God bless him. Another guy who punched out of his fucking weight.
Tommy Dreamer.
Jesus fucking Christ. Tommy, I'm drinking for you, brother.
Yeah. I'll drink the Tommy Dreamer. Hell yeah. No, I'm not drinking that for Tommy
Drinking
Dreamer.
that shit.
I'm stab myself in the dick before I drink that thing again.
But
That feels a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Scale it back.
I mean, yeah. Stab myself
you want him to scale it back, you sure?
in the thigh.
You're like fucking Will Ferrell and
Just close enough to the dick and
It's
you
like
think
Sid
about
Carr.
it.
The greatest
Yeah.
line I've ever heard of. I say Sid Carr is botching so bad, you tell him to suck a dick and he sucks some dude's thigh.
That's the guy's thigh!
It's fucking incredible.
Oh boy, it's so fucking accurate.
So you didn't like this match?
So the problem was that, kind of what I said a while ago, like, if everything's extreme, nothing's really extreme anymore. And then everything becomes this weird, like, mix of just pure violence. And this match was fine the way it was, violence-wise. But one of the matches beforehand needed to not be so damn violent.
Yeah.
So it was like I needed like a lull where I could come back to the violence, because by the time we get to it, and God bless Sandman, he's not very good. He's
not.
fucking slow as shit in the ring. He's slowing everything down. He looks awkward as hell. Like, the match just, I feel like I was exhausted from all the extreme championship wrestling.
You know when a video game botches and one of the characters is just walking in a corner and just keeps walking but isn't
Yes.
going anywhere?
Yes.
That was Sandman for
All right, Sandman.
15 minutes of this match.
God damn it, it's true.
So drunk that it takes him 3 minutes to realize that he needs the bump. And then he starts falling down randomly.
But when you drink that much and bleed that much at the same time, it's,
Makes sense.
Like, it was a fine match. It was an unsatisfying finish for what had been done to Beulah. It felt like it was cool, but it was anticlimactic almost. Does that make sense? Am I alone in this?
It makes sense. No, you could tell the story they're going with, which to me was interpreted as, so you have everyone who's standing up for Tommy Dreamer.
It's a revenge match.
Yeah, it's revenge. And Tommy Dreamer wants to get his hands specifically on Bubba Dudley, right? And the entire match is based around the idea that anytime Dreamer gets his hands on Bubba to get any kind of comeuppance, there's 95 people to stop him. So the finish is going to build up. But we had seen almost everything all night. And then you get the ladders brought out, which are great. And you can tell they aren't, because they're real ladders. They're not mass-produced WWE ladders.
This is the part of the pay-per-view where I put the nipple clamps on.
Oh, because there are ladders involved.
Ladders.
The gimmick guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can definitely I can see how you didn't like it, right? But to me, this was...
And that's and mind you, every match was fine. I like this one the least.
Yeah, so for me, this was the one match I had seen prior to the pay-per-view. Just because I knew of the match itself. And it did feel... I mean, it was a fucking wild match.
Yeah, it was.
Once it finally got started, like, it was wild from start to finish. And the finish was fucking bonkers. But it felt like violence for the sake of being violent, because it's ECW and it's a main event, so it needs to be extra extreme.
Yeah.
Extreme.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Spike Dudley.
You've been wanting to talk about Spike all day.
I've never seen a human being tossed like a rag doll before. Like the literal, watching just Bubba just throw him like across the ring. Like, I've never seen a human being bounce like that. like on TV. You know, in person I've seen it by accident a few times, but you know, that's a whole different conversation.
That's what we do our episode of snuff films.
Wow.
I'm,
Okay.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, let's just put that on the
Put that in the Google Docs.
Yeah, let's
no,
not.
there's some shit that happened growing up in the mean streets of Sunset Hills, Mount Lebanon. Yeah.
Snuff?
No.
Okay,
I'm
because I
saying
was going to say, where the fuck is this going?
Watching human beings bounce off concrete inadvertently. You know, everyone was okay. But, you know, watching, you know, anyways, falling out of trees.
We
shit
don't
like
know.
that. You don't
That's
know.
why we're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just watching, I mean, I've said this on previous versions of the podcast before about just, has anybody checked on Spike Dudley just to make sure he's okay? Do we just have wellness checks just scheduled twice a week by the local PD just to make sure he's awake?
I'm assuming he's probably doing cons at this point, because he was a teacher.
He still is a teacher.
He went back to teaching,
Yeah,
or
went
he
back
never
to teaching.
stopped. So I thought he quit.
Was he a mutant? Like, did he have an extra thick skull that protected his brain that other humans don't have? Because
he has to have, right? He has to figure out some sort of secret to dunk himself into something at the end
like,
of every match.
like first off, to be that size, you know, in local wrestling, you often will see people who may look like wrestlers, and then a lot of people that don't look like wrestlers, right? When you get to professional ranks and things like this, you see everybody who looks like a wrestler, except for one.
Little Spike.
And yet the dude takes the fucking like just to prove, I guess, that he could just
he
do it.
belongs, yeah.
It's unbelievable what this guy put himself through. I can't believe he just kept getting up. Although at the end of the match, when he was kind of stumbling back and forth when they were trying to pose on the ladder,
Yeah, they were all climbing up ladders. He's like, I'm not even going to try that.
I don't think that was really like a put off or anything. I think that's actually him trying to like stand up after what happened.
The room is spinning at that point.
Just everything was spinning at that point.
Which, speaking of the end, you know, the match itself, it was what it was. It was fine. Again, I think I was just kind of burnt out on all the excessive violence by the end of it. I remember this image and this moment where New Jack comes down.
With the shopping cart.
And they play this weak-ass...
Not Natural Born
I don't
Killers.
even know what the fuck... And I specifically remember... I do remember New Jack coming out, but I sure as shit remember him coming out to Natural Born Killers, not whatever the fuck this is. And it ruined everything. The whole moment was just gone. If you're gonna give them generic music, try a little fucking harder. Just a little bit. I mean, nothing's gonna really come close to Natural Born Killers. I get it, but it just wasn't great. It ruined the whole moment.
Yeah, the fake music. I mean, you knew New Jack was coming back out. First of all, we get a DDT on the ladder, which I have never seen since, and probably for real good fucking reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not safe.
No.
Don't forget about Big Dick with the total penetration on the ladder earlier.
Yes. God, Big Dick done.
Yeah, there are about 50 Big Dick references for Big Dick.
That's light. That's light. Yeah, that's light for them. But the New Jack thing is that's how you send... I don't understand why you got to send the people home happy if your babyface is winning the feud, the blood feud. But then the Dudleys immediately get their heat. And then New Jack and Jack Victory, who is also rivaling Mike Awesome from most Australian lesbian mullet of the show, comes in and hits the powder-filled guitar. And then all of a sudden, New Jack comes out and we have the New Jack show for a few minutes. I didn't see... It's gratuitous, but that's ECW. Right.
So,
but I think, how do you end a blood feud that's supposed to avenge Beulah's paralysis that she's never walking anywhere? But the real hero at the end of the night is New Jack.
Did she ever come back to ECW after this?
She shows up at the One Night Stand 2005, which we will fucking do because it's one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen in my life, and it's 2006, excuse me, rather. Whenever it was like ECW's relaunching as a brand, and the main event was Dreamer and Terry Funk versus Edge and Mick Foley, and this was when Edge and Lita were the sex couple, and she shows up as like the pop of the night to as like revenge.
We never forget.
And she's added to the match, and Edge spears and pins her. Like, welcome back to wrestling. Spears the shit out of her, and then dry humps her as they count the 3, which is the most Beulah McGillicuddy thing I've ever seen. She gets it.
Oh my god.
She gets it. Yeah. But yes, the answer is yes. She does eventually come back. But not
She was only paralyzed for 7 years.
for 7. It's a
Hey,
miracle.
that's a long
that.
time.
It's a miracle.
God damn it.
But to me, on the flip side, this is ECW. in a lot of ways. This entire concept of a 13-minute heel promo because one of the wrestlers is too fucked up to come into the ring, and then it's just mayhem, and we loosely try to follow a storyline, but it's just Joey Styles screaming at the top of his lungs for most of the night.
Well, I like to think, real quick, that the reason that there was that 13-minute heel promo was because Paul Lee and Sandman were arguing over money. That's what I think. It was money.
It's everyone but Paul Lee. Yeah. Which is why we get the shitty entrance music. He's like, I don't know. Why don't you just take a Casio keyboard and spend $20 on all of the music for the rest of the dub of the show?
Will you allow me a volley? Hear me out here, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sewage.
Okay. Well, all right.
The promo that he cuts just about her breaking her neck, like he was so angry. Yeah. Like while they're even before Dudley's came out, like all the filler time that happened, like the 20-minute filler time that happened beforehand, and he's just talking about how he hates the Dudleys, and it's how dare they do this to her, and all those different things. Like it was just fantastic, right? Last thing I have about this, the chair shot. Or not the chair shot, the guitar shot.
Oh, yeah.
Of everything that happens in wrestling, to me, that's the most terrifying thing ever. Because, like, I fear people, like, losing eyes when the guitar... There's a lot of moving splinters in there. There's fucking guitar strings. Like, I know how tight those things can get. Well, I'm sure they're not like that, but still, they're there. Right? To see two of them like that, and the second one that fucking Jack Victory took was like hard.
Oh, that was New Jack. He didn't gimmick that guitar at all.
No, he didn't. No.
That's New Jack, though, dude. The most carny of all carny motherfuckers.
Yeah.
In the history of the
He was a
world.
fucking bounty hunter.
Yeah, he was.
Fuck. I don't want him fucking trying to chase my ass down.
Fucking done.
He'll accidentally trip and fucking shoot you.
Right.
He'd stab you and say it was your fault.
He would.
I guess he's not now. He's passed away, but...
Yeah.
All right. So I have a rating as 4.5 oversells, then no sells, then oversells out of 5 because that's how everything Devon Dudley does. And then he shakes like he's been electrocuted, and he gets up like it didn't happen, and then he shakes like he's been electrocuted.
His oversell when he gets crushed under the ladder.
Oh,
it was fucking hilarious.
Yes.
But I want to bring, before we send this home, I want to bring something up that's we make jokes about ECW and all the drug use and stuff, but this is the first wrestling show we've ever reviewed where somebody involved in every match is dead and died early. Every single match has somebody dead from it. Multiple people in some of the matches. So I think the idea that we love ECW for what it was, but then the question is how much of this lifestyle contributed to, the fact that we had 6 matches on the show and someone's dead from every one.
When you put it that way, goddamn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the most ECW thing about the show?
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking extreme.
It is. Jesus. I mean, you break it down. You had Nicole Bass gone, right? Then you have Chris Candido.
Is Hayabusa dead?
Hayabusa's dead. He was paralyzed and then he died.
God damn it!
I
didn't realize he died.
Yeah, Hayabusa's gone. Then you have Mike Awesome took his own life, and then you have Bam Bam Bigelow is gone, and then you have Big Dick Dudley, and New Jack, and Jack Victory.
And Candido.
And well, I said Candido really, but yes, been in the
all
gone. All gone. So I think we are going to continue. We are not done by a long shot with ECW on this show, but I think we need to take that Heat Wave 98 is one of the highest rated ECW shows ever, and I think you start to see that this is before they started. They did ease up a little bit as we get going. Now we're talking about ease off the violence because they figured out by 99 to put Tajiri and Super Crazy and Little Nunzio in their triple threats.
Good.
They wrestled each other like 85 times.
Great
it was
matches.
always great matches right before your hyper violent main event, so you have like a palate cleanser of just wrestling. And matches that would inspire like Ring of Honor and stuff that would come out of this as guys would make their debut. We are not even anywhere near Steve Corino.
I can't wait to talk about Steve Corino.
Rhino. Or all of these guys as their main event. Ladies and gentlemen, a year from now, Dusty Rhodes shows up in ECW and has a feud. So we aren't anywhere near the apex of it. But at the end of the day, one thing you take away from this show. What is it?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And crack cocaine is much cheaper.
I know that now.
I don't think that those were like fake tables in any way, shape, or form. Like they were real tables, like expected to hold people up and food and all sorts of other shit. Because during the pay-per-view, there are a lot of times you would see them like stepping on the table that a lot of people were put through. And like in today's WWE, you know, they probably do a little bit to make sure those tables break the right way. Mm-hmm. These tables were not designed to break. These tables were designed to be the fucking table.
These tables were catering.
And a lot of them were used in this paper.
A lot of catering.
Let me, real quick, I don't retract what I said. I don't retract shit. However, I will add on to what I said. It was a great year for being a wrestling fan. That's it.
98.
98 was just...
Oh, yeah.
97, 98, 99. You couldn't get any fucking better than those 3 years.
I don't think it'll ever will.
Nope.
But we'll try.
The Monday Night Wars were fantastic. And all things aside, I mean, this was a great pay-per-view. I didn't watch a ton of ECW as a kid, but I knew mostly what was going on. It's just, if you look in hindsight, how much head trauma and concussion and the lack of protocols factored into a lot of things. It's like, probably could have done better.
I think retrospect, anyone that still is alive from this show knows that it probably wouldn't have changed anything about where they got where they were. But if you could, there you go. Take care of each other a little bit better.
But at the same time, 25 years later, people are still talking about it.
We still are, and we will continue to talk about it.
And Spike Dudley is apparently educating children.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure
he was a teacher beforehand.
He was. I think he went back after WWE released him and he went to TNA, but I think it's about tenure. And he's got to reestablish so he can actually retire as a teacher. Damn it,
pensions
unionize.
are important, folks.
Yes,
get a job
Support
with
your
a
teachers,
fucking
local
pension.
union.
Please do it.
Benefits are important.
Yes.
They are. But
you
know
learn anything from tonight?
Some of the best benefits are the benefits that we give you, the sweet, gentle listener. Guys, you made it through all the way, and I'm back. And this isn't just a one-off thing.
It better goddamn well not be.
I am fucking back like that rash that won't seem to go away no matter how many times you use a special shampoo.
The gift that keeps
or
on
a topical
giving.
ointment.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can pass it to your future generations. It'll be a part of their DNA. And here we are now. Now, here's the thing. I came prepared for this show. But I have no idea what the fuck we're going to talk about next.
We haven't really figured that out.
Oh my god, then you know what? We won't fucking tell you.
Nope.
We're going to let you just
You'll
one
find
day,
out next week when the next episode is here.
when you load up your Spotify or your Google Podcasts or your iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts and you see that Nothing Good and you're like, oh shit, what do these motherfuckers have for us? I think at the end of the day, the one thing we really
Jesus,
can...
Dave.
sorry, no, it gets me excited. It was a double tap.
Apparently.
Yes, I was like, the only other thing more forceful is Dave is trying to stall for time while he realizes he locked his phone and closed his notes, so he has to come back and get it open, and so that you can hear more. But I think at the end of the day, that what really separates us from the animals is how we talk, how we interact with each other, and how that I promise that. I won't promise that I'll be on every show going forward. But I promise that in every word I say and every breath I take, that I will continue to get this motherfucker to my right to admit that he would split the Sega channel like a fucking piece of lumber. Then, once he's done finished inside of it years later, he gets a letter in the mail. It's a manila envelope and it's paternity tests. It's your baby, Herb. It's your baby. Are you the father? And I want to find out. And I think about that all the time. And I want you to think about that all the time as we get into the show. You know, Jones, let me just ask you a question. If your dick was a mozzarella stick, would you dip it into the marinara sauce of the Sega channel?
If I can be forthcoming with you.
Oh, please. Or fifth coming.
Oh.
Play your cards right.
Yeah. If you have enough electrolytes.
No, because I like jalapeno poppers. Specifically cream cheese.
A little
So
spice.
you can
He likes
go
a little
fuck off with
spice
that
in there.
shit.
I'll be heat. Well, we appreciate you guys bringing the heat. Anything else? Have anyone
No,
else
we
ready to add?
appreciate you bringing the heat, Noah.
Thanks for
It's-
showing up.
It is great to
10
have
years
you
later.
back. We missed you extremely.
I missed you.
We'll see how it goes from here.
Hey, It's okay.
Yeah.
We ain't here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
That's right.
fucking right.
That's right. And we're fucking here for you. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks
and
for
we will
listening.
see all you motherfuckers next week.
I'm gonna spit on your floor.
Nothin' Good.